As the field watched the Toyota Solara pace car pull off from pit road, getting ready for the start of the 32nd running of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, a full field of champ cars strained at their leashes, awaiting their explosive release after months of preparation. Then calamity struck. In the blink of an eye, 4 top competitors on the racetrack were tossed aside. Tracy, Allmendinger, Junqueira, and Serbia. For them, their Long Beach experience had proven to be a bitter pill indeed. But for Sebastian Bourdais and the #1 McDonald's entry, that spring afternoon on the coast of Southern California delivered all one could ask. The young Frenchman embraced the opportunity, dominating the race flag to flag. Yet surely he must know that those 4 men from that first lap, first turn debacle now have more to prove than ever before. That even grander heroics will be needed to fend off their charge. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. The sights, the sounds, the exhilaration of a 185-mile-an-hour festival of speed. Champ Car is back in the Lone Star State. The 2006 Champ Car World Series, the second round of the new season. It is the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston, Texas. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Houston. I'm Rick Benjamin. You know, you can cut the anticipation here with a knife. First time the Champ Car has been here since 2001. The eyes of Texas, you might say, are on 4 young drivers tonight who might have some bruised feelings after what happened at Long Beach.
Well, I wasn't happy. Obviously, I mean, I was really looking forward to the race, a good start, you know, start putting some points into the account.
I qualified very well, and the new Mahaska was strong, and to get hit in the first turn, I was very frustrated.
I don't blame Mario for it. It was a mistake that he made, but you know, I've made plenty of mistakes, and the day that I'm perfect, then I'll start blaming everybody else for accidents. But the way I looked at it was I didn't need to say anything to Mario because he took out the worst possible guy, and that was his teammate, Paul Tracy.
For me, it's been a long time since I've been out on the first corner. You know, Mario just came in and, you know, just really ran into the back of me, and we talked about it at the Portland test, and he just basically said he was sorry about it, and it's just one of those things that happens.
Rivalry starting to build already early in the 2006 season. Now, we talked to all those drivers a few days ago. Jan Beekes, what's the situation now that we're here in Houston ready to race?
Well, Rick, the moment that they arrived here in Houston, those memories of Long Beach just went right out the window because both the drivers and the teams realized they have a huge challenge on their hands, predominantly because of the bumps. Now, reliability is an issue. The teams are concerned about it. A lot of new parts going on these cars tonight to make sure they make it to the end. From a driver standpoint, fitness, definitely an issue. It's a slow track, but huge bumps tries to whip the steering wheel out of your hand, and it's going to be tough physically with no place to rest. Passing, got to be careful to pull off the line because of those bumps, but the best way to pull off a pass, I think, is unforced errors. There's going to be a lot of errors tonight. You definitely want to be in the right spot to capitalize on it. Now, the configuration of the track has also gone under some changes this weekend. It started off in this configuration, but look at the long stretch to turn number 2. They have added a chicane in this section for safety to try and slow the cars down. And in turn 9, there's a wall here on the outside that keeps the cars nice and safe.
All of this resulting in some changes here as we get set for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. A little longer racetrack, now about 1.7 miles. The race distance has been cut to account for that to 100 laps, and of course, that chicane added before turn 2. Some of the protagonists on the grid. Downstairs to Cameron Steele.
Well, Rick, there was certainly a lot of emotion when we went for the Bridgestone pole position, and this gentleman right here on my right, Mario Dominguez, captured that. And Mario, the emotion, tears of joy in your eye, your first ever pole, must be exciting.
It was great. My engineer, Michael Cannon, almost was crying, and it was just a lot of hard work put into this pole position. A lot of help from the team, a lot of help from Paul Tracy. He's been great teammate, and hopefully we can convert this into a win, this pole position.
Well, definitely a hard track to pass on, and you saw him talk about Paul Tracy, and Paul Tracy here to my left coming from the 3rd starting position. This track is very tough and bumpy, and I gotta wonder, are you looking at the first lap as being super key, or are you gonna hang back just a little bit?
No, I think, you know, the key for us really is to get through the first corner, everybody to get through the first corner and get the race going. And then from there, I mean, it's going to be a hard race. It's going to be a tough race physically and on the cars. So, you know, we need to get some points this weekend. We had a misfortune at Long Beach, so, you know, we need to come out of here with some points.
Everybody looking for Paul Tracy to come out guns blazing. I think we can almost guarantee that. He has signed 5 more years with Foresight Racing. And now let's check in with Bill Stevens.
Two-time series champion and newlywed Sebastian Bourdais had his Friday night qualifying time thrown out. It would have put him on the first row. Instead, yesterday, he qualified 5th. And the question we're going to ask you, Sebastian, how confident are you can win this race starting from the 3rd row tonight?
Not so confident, but you know, if the worst weekends come to an end with a 5th place, well, we'll take that. And it's what we've done last year, won the championship with that approach with the Magnus car. So we'll try and repeat, I guess.
Looks like you struggled a little bit in the final practice today.
No, I mean, we were P2 in the warm-up, and I made a mistake, went on the run. I didn't want to lock the tires because it was a race set, so you know, it was kind of discompromised and didn't damage too much our situation.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Guys, I want to remind you, last year in Edmonton, he qualified 10th and came back and won that race.
As he did come from 10th to the win, one of the 2 new venues that the series had visited. That is the new Mrs. Bourdais, Claire Rago Bourdais. Paul Newman getting set for the start here as well. The streets of Houston, the Champ Car World Series is in Houston. We'll be back in just a moment. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Our coverage being brought to you today by Ford, bold moves. And by Bridgestone, passion for excellence. Now the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston around Reliant Stadium here. And of course, it is another 3-day festival of speed. I want to introduce you to the 5th member of our broadcast crew. Michelle Beisner has been out and about this week checking out the scene here in Houston.
All right, Rick, thanks so much. And while my boys in the pit show you all the action on race day, it's my job to take you behind the scenes and show you all the action off the track. That's right, the Grand Prix of Houston is not just about the race. In fact, this is a full 3 days, a festival of speed. I'm talking concerts, boxing matches, volleyball tournaments, games, you name it. I'm your backstage pass, and I'm going to take you there to show you what you may have missed this year, but what you'll be sure not to miss next time around.
Thanks, Michelle. May need to strap her in with a 5-point harness before she climbs up on any more mechanical bulls. Cars moving out on the racetrack. Our Bridgestone Pole Award winner here for the first time in his 65-start Champ Car World Series career. Mario Dominguez from Mexico City, Mexico, grabbed the pole in 2nd round qualifying on Friday. The $10,000 Bridgestone Pole Award to Mario Dominguez. He will start from the #1 position here tonight as we get set to go racing in the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Mario, so emotional, so thrilled to get that top spot the first time in his career. He'll line up alongside Bruno Junqueira as the Champ Car starting grid is powered by Ford. Junqueira, the Newman Haas, hole in the wall, car number 2. 2nd row here tonight will look like this. Dominguez teammate Paul Tracy, the Foresight Index 3, and the Roost Sport 10 for A.J. Allmendinger starting 4th. 3rd row, series champ Sebastian Bourdais, the McDonald's car number 1, and the Aussie Vineyards 15, veteran Alex Tagliani for Team Australia. In row number 4, Justin Wilson, twice a winner last year, the CDW 9 car, alongside Oriol Servia, making his 100th consecutive start tonight in the Gulfstream 6. 5th row, car number 4 for Nelson Philippe, the CTE HVM machine. Will Power has the Aussie Vineyards 5 car, starting outside in the 10th position. In the 6th row, Charles Wolzman, the MyJack Conquest number 34, and Speedy Dan Clark in the other CTE HVM machine. He has had an eventful weekend so far. 7th row, 2nd-year driver Andrew Ranger, the MyJack Tide number 27 for MyJack Conquest, and series champ, former champ Cristiano D'Amata. Catherine Legg in the 8th row, the Bell Micro 20 with first-timer Nicky Pastorelli. He takes over the Rocket Sports 8 from Antonio Pizzonia. And the final starter in the 9th row, all alone tonight. 17 cars will take the green. It'll be rookie Jan Halen. He is from Belgium. And the Sonny's Barbecue 11 for the Dale Coyne team. Meantime, D'Amata had a little problem getting the 19 car fired on pit road, but the Dale Coyne team has gotten him rolling. The 2002 Series champ will be able to take the green. We'll be right back in Houston. Back in Houston, Reliant Park, the Champ Car World Series, the Grand Prix of Houston about to unfold. First time in 5 years these cars have been here. We're at Reliant Park. On boards with Paul Tracy, the Index Foresight 3. He'll come from the 3rd starting spot tonight. He'll also ride in the CDW 9 car of Justin Wilson, 2nd at Long Beach, 2nd. And we'll have cameras on board as well with Charles Wolzman, who starts deeper in the field tonight Charles Wolfsman in the 34 car, the Speed Racer machine for the BiJack Conquest team. Cameron Steele.
Well, one thing we'll see from those onboard cameras is just how bumpy it is here in Houston. Where the concrete comes together in the seams, you have rises and drops, and the drivers say they don't really have any time to rest whatsoever. Justin Wilson said his vision will be the biggest problem. Let's send it back to the booth.
Getting ready to go green, yeah.
And you'll see that they go right to a single file fashion here. This is something that was decided at the last moment by race director Tony Cottman as well as the drivers. They requested no passing until you get out of this chicane. So the race hasn't really started yet as far as what the officials will allow them to do, even though you have some shortcuts. But right about now, we're on it. You can pass wherever you want.
Well, Justin Wilson in one of the HVM cars went right through that chicane. Should be no penalty in that situation. Now, all these drivers have started on the Bridgestone alternate tires, the Reds we call them, except for champion Sebastian Bourdais. And already, contact, it looked like one car brushed the wall. That could be off Justin Wilson's car.
There is obviously multiple red and white cars, so we'll wait to see whose car that is off. But definitely, it was a case where the drivers, some of which requested to make sure with this addition to the racetrack. Remember, this came late. We talked about it in the open. They wanted to be sure everybody was clean. It worked. Now we get to racing.
There's Bourdais in the McDonald's one at Long Beach, two-time series champ. He's won 4 in a row at brand new venues. First new venue of the season for Champ Car. Looking at turn 9, now to the front straightaway. Field single file, AJ Allmendinger. Started 5th, sits 5th at the moment. Everybody chasing Mario Dominguez, the Spirit of Mexico car number 7. Second spot belongs to Bruno Junqueira. Teammate Paul Tracy for Dominguez is 3rd. And now Bourdais has moved to 4th position. There is the car of Alex Tagliani. Tagliani 6th last time by. There is Wilson. He is indeed missing part of the right front wing. No, I'm sorry, that's one of the PKV cars, John.
Oriol Servia has a problem now. Of course, Justin Wilson is on pit road because there may have been some contact as well, but the wing that's missing, Oriol Servia, who has been quick on occasion here this weekend.
Here comes Wilson up through the gears. Pit lane speed limit in effect, about to blend back in with traffic. But Servia's car was the one that lost the winglet, the right front piece off the nose cone. The CDW9 car of Wilson. Cameron Steele.
Well, down here in the CDW pit, what happened with the contact? He had a rear flat tire. They had to come in and change it. Unfortunate start for Justin Wilson.
Dominguez continues to lead. This is Paul Tracy, former series champ, sitting 3rd behind Bruno Junqueira. Junqueira and Tracy, a couple of the principals in that first turn skirmish at Long Beach that took out 4 key contenders. Everyone wanting to settle things down, get a couple of laps under their belt tonight. Yeah, and I think this may be a case of these guys wanting to race the racetrack more than each other, at least in the early going.
In the early going, definitely, but they're wanting to race each other as soon as they get a handle on this. We talked about how physically demanding it is. You'll notice that all the rain lights are on. That is by design. Obviously, it's a night race, and sometimes your depth perception is affected. That's why every car has to have the light on. Bill?
If you're wondering why Sebastian Bourdais is on those black tires, it's very simple. During practice and qualifying, the team found that the Reds, the optional tires, were not agreeing with the car. I spoke to Craig Hampson, team leader, just a few minutes ago, and he basically said the car was almost undrivable on those red sidewall Bridgestones.
Well, Bill, of course, by regulation, you have to put the Bridgestone Reds on at least once in the race. So, okay, 25 is his fuel number. They give you a target fuel number. That's Kenny Seawick talking to Sebastian Bourdais on the radio. Already, they tell him what the fuel number needs to be. The pit strategy already in effect.
Now, it's 100 laps instead of 115 tonight, yeah, but you still think 2 pit stops. Now, here comes Alex Tagliani. Good battle here. This is Servia back on the racetrack with Will Power.
And it is a case, yes, I'm sorry, it is going to be a 2-stopper race. There is a window. It's not something you have to save fuel to go. It's a case where you're just trying to see if maybe you use a little less fuel, you can make a faster pit stop.
Now look at Servia's car, the Gulfstream 6 for the PKV team. Big changes in that team in the last several days, and we'll cover that in a little while. But Servia's doing pretty well considering he's missing part of his front aero package.
He's doing fantastic. Remember, Paul Tracy kind of was the person who really had an opportunity to forge that in Toronto. Lost a front wing and ran almost as quickly. So
the wing looks okay. I mean, it's all stable. It looks okay. Keep going.
Obviously, the PKV crew calling him, assuring him that, you know, no more pieces are going to come off or he'll just push it.
Will Power trailing Servia right there, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now that's Nelson Philippe in the CTE HVM car. Philippe in car number 4, the Bird to Bear Entertainment entry. That's the gray machine that you see here behind Servia's red and white 6. and the beautiful Aussie Vineyards car of rookie Will Power. Now, Power has been very strong. Team Australia, you know, one of the factors in night racing that I think makes it so attractive on television and to the fans who are here in Houston, the colors on these cars look beautiful. Team Australia wins the Sherwin-Williams Automotive Finishes Award here this weekend. CTE HVM had won that award back at Long Beach, first race of the season in the month of April. Watching Serbia.
Now, what's interesting about that paint program that you spoke about is that when they paint the car, as you can see here so vividly on Paul Tracy's machine, is that they actually have come up with paints now that are lighter.
Yeah.
They're not so concerned just about the colors. They actually can make the cars lighter because it takes less paint.
Sherwin-Williams, an important corporate partner for Champ Car, and there you see the red sidewall tires on Paul Tracy's Index machine. Meantime, he has fallen to fourth. Sebastian Bourdais, who had struggled mightily yesterday on, and they have questions about whether the red tires, the alternate tires, will work on Bourdais' machine very well. They got by Tracy. Those two great rivals. They had an incredible season of battles last year. Lots of contact between the two drivers. And now Bourdais up on the wheel, putting pressure on Bruno Junqueira, his teammate. Second spot in play.
I was going to say, it looked like Bruno slowed all of a sudden. It didn't appear as though there was anything in particular where Bourdais moved forward, but it appeared as though Bruno Junqueira had a bit of a miscue or something that put him right into the clutches of his teammate.
His last lap pace was about a second slower than what he'd been running, and that gave Bourdais the opportunity to get up there. With Sebastian Bourdais, the book on him earlier in his Champ Car career, Jan, was that he liked to run out front. Wasn't as good coming from deep in the pack, but we saw him win last year at Edmonton from the fifth row. We've seen him do it in the past. I don't think that's a valid criticism anymore at all. Now, something else we want to let you know here tonight. Champ Car officials coming to Houston. This is such a tight racetrack. They changed the Cosworth power to pass rule. Still 60 seconds, but the power numbers are different.
Yes, instead of starting at 750 horsepower and going to 800, now it's 725 to 800. So you have 75 additional horsepower on your Cosworth power to pass.
On board with Tracy, riding fourth, 4.5 seconds. Behind race leader, his teammate, Mario Dominguez. Dominguez, a former Champ Car Rookie of the Year. Yeah, there he is, the Roche-Franz banner on the rear wing. Big couple of weeks for Dominguez out of Mexico City. They put Spirit of Mexico, or Guayo de Mexico, on the side pods of that car to try to more or less make a statement, I think, to the huge Hispanic population here in Central and South Texas that Dominguez is their guy. He's the only Mexican national in the series at the moment. Next week, of course.
Okay, 84 on fuel. Again, those are the fuel target numbers that they will every single lap tell them what the target is. They're starting to use codes now. They used to say, 1.72 miles per gallon, that's your target. Now they're starting to go to codes because they know we listen to them, and so do the other teams.
And we'll have to get our little Sudoku book out or something there and figure out what the hieroglyphics mean. But it's been a great night, a great weekend so far for Dominguez, who more or less goes home, goes to Monterey for the next race, Champ Car. You'll see it here live on Speed next Sunday afternoon from Fundadora Park. And Dominguez is a national hero in Mexico.
And one of the things about Mario Dominguez that Paul Tracy has spoken about, his engineer, Michael Cannon, has spoken about, he loves bumpy racetracks. Yeah. He's just good on them. It suits his style. And Paul Tracy said that not only his car setup, but his driving style was something that even Paul Tracy can't match. And that's saying something.
Well, we talked earlier about how this is sort of like, you might consider it a go-kart track. It's a short track, short straightaways, rough and bumpy and very flat. Dominguez a left foot breaker, Jan?
Yes.
As we watch this battle developing here, Tagliani in the 15 car, Oriol Serbia in the 6. Left foot braking versus right foot, big difference.
It is. Between the two team cars, you have left and right. And as we look back through this group, you do have a variation. But as the younger kids are coming in from karting, you're getting more and more left foot braking.
Cameron Steele on pit road.
I was talking to some of the crew over at the PKV Racing, and they said that Oriol Serbia is going just as quick as they expected for him to go without the wing, so they are not planning on coming in to check in for it.
Last year, as we watched Serbia sitting 7th, 16.5 seconds behind Dominguez, at Toronto last year, Paul Tracy and Sebastian Bourdais had a huge shunt. Tracy nearly won the race, minus his entire right front corner, right front wing of the car.
Like I was saying, he kind of forged new territory to where all the teams know it can be done, and he's showing that, in fact, Paul Tracy wasn't the only person who can do it.
Back behind Serbia, this is Will Power in 8th, and the other Aussie Vineyards car, Philippe in 9th. There's Charles Wolzman. Now he's climbed to 10th in the MyJack Conquest 34. As we see Nelson Philippe pouring by. Let's climb on board here with Wolzman.
This is a great view just to see. Look at that. Look at the way that the bumps, now some of that was correction because the back of the car stepped out, but look at the way across the bumps it just tries to yank it right out of your hands. If you watched our qualifying show, on speed last night, you know that Paul Tracy was spraying pine tar on his gloves like you would do in baseball to be sure he can hang on to the wheel.
And Tracy, I'm sure, batting third in the order here tonight for the Forsyth team. Started third anyway, and right now PT sits in fourth position. Race leader Mario Dominguez, 2 career victories.
Oh, here we
Bourdais
go.
for second spot to the inside. Can Junqueira come back? No, Junqueira has problems. I think Junqueira's got a problem, yeah.
Well, he may have a problem. What happened there was he tried to give his teammate, once he knew that that was his corner, he didn't want to cut right back and have any kind of contact. He got out of the groove and lost some momentum. It doesn't mean that he has a problem that's going to continue. But yes, you lose the momentum, you lose the actual line here. That's a big problem.
So Sebastian Bourdais in the first 10 laps tonight here in the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston from 5th to 2nd spot, shuffling his teammate Junqueira, who started on the front row, back to 3rd. Bourdais perhaps feeling he's got a point to prove here tonight.
Yes, and the thing is he did not like the Bridgestone alternate, as we call reds. He didn't like him in the heat of the day.
Yeah.
So just because he didn't like him and doesn't prefer them, at nighttime, later in the race, you put the reds on, he might be fine. But that's the gamble. That's the thing no one knows until they slap him on the car and see what happens.
Turn 4 here at Houston. And look at that. You'd think he'd be to the right there, but instead, the smoother part of the racetrack is way out left as we go back and take a look at Mario Dominguez.
And from an overhead shot, you can see why some of these drivers choose the lines that they do. It's not always the fastest way through the corner traditionally, is to make sure that you miss the largest of the bumps, and that's what we saw up front.
Dominguez has a 4.3-second lead over Sebastian Bourdais. We're 10 laps into the 100-lap Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Houston, Reliant Park, the Champ Car World Series. And a reminder, coming up, your chance to enter the Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Monterey, plus a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires. Or a subscription to Auto Week. One grand prize winner gets a new Ford Mustang GT and will join us in Mexico City for the season finale. Stay tuned for this week's code word. The Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes is presented by Bridgestone. Our Long Beach winner, Dean Lamb of Chicago, Illinois, with us here this weekend at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Alongside Jan Bikas, Iberick Benjamin, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens on pit road for us tonight. 14 laps on the board. The Speed Racer MyJack Conquest 34 car. Charles Wolzman still sitting 10th. Everyone chasing this guy, Super Mario Dominguez, and the Orgullo de Mexico 7 car, the Forsyth Index machine. Dominguez off his first career pole earlier this weekend, gunning for his 3rd Champ Car win, his 66th career start tonight. Dominguez, look at his lap times, John. Very consistent, I would say.
It's a case where there's nothing better than this. Mario Dominguez has spent so much time on these type of racetracks chasing, and it's so much different when you have an opportunity to have some clear racetrack and just be consistent. This is like a dream for a driver. As long as his pit stops go well and everything goes as they plan, it could be a great night for Mario.
Let's take a look back at Sebastian Bourdais, now the series champ, the winner of the opener at Long Beach. He is second by 3.8 seconds, Bill Stevens.
Yeah, he is really on a roll, Rick, and I'll tell you, I just spoke to Craig
And
Hansen.
we'll hear from Bill a little bit later on tonight. Paul Tracy has moved to 3rd now. Sebastian Bourdais into 2nd spot earlier. A.J. Allmendinger and Bruno Junqueira running 4th and 5th. So Bruno slipping off the pace. I'm sure we'll get back and see the 2 car, the hole-in-the-wall Camps machine, the other Newman Haas entry. Bruno with a front row start. Meantime, Bourdais got the bit in his teeth here, trying to chase down Dominguez. Clean racetrack, and this race may be coming to him. How about Paul Tracy? It seemed, Jan, when we were on board with him a moment ago, as though he was fighting kind of a loose race car.
Well, if you want to get an idea of what it's like, this will give you an idea. The helmet cam for Paul Tracy. Not only does that show you the wheel movement, but just look at the way that it just beats your body across this thing.
5.2 AJ.
5.2 seconds ahead of AJ, of course, that's Neil Mickelwright, and it's amazing how clear those transmissions are.
Now recall, of course, that Tracy and Allmendinger have had their moments in the season just past. In fact, at the finale last year in Mexico City, trouble for one of the Sonny's Barbecue cars. That's the 11 of Jan Halen. He started at the back of the field. He was up to 16th, but he's gone into a runoff area. He's got the car, well, it sounds like it's stalled. It sounded like he kept it running with the clutch in, but he's got the visor up.
Which you're not supposed to do unless the car is stalled. So
Yeah,
that was a
he
bit
did keep it fired. One more look.
That was a mixed signal. The drivers are all told that if the car has stalled, you're to lift your visor, and he spun the car around very nicely. That is tough to do in the tight confines, and we have Speedy Dan in the pits.
Dan Clark, who's had a very eventful weekend. He had problems at Long Beach, put the car in the tires twice, knocked the rear wing off it there. He had a huge crash in on track the other night, got into the outside retaining wall. They were able to fix the 14 car, but they're underneath. They've taken the front wheels off the car. Perhaps a brake problem, Jan?
No, I think what happened is he's made contact somewhere, and that front axle is not where it needs to be. But let's go down and get back to Rick.
All right, as we see the 14 car crew still going to work down there. Speedy Dan Clark out of Great Britain will show you a little bit of what his weekend's been like. This was a shunt with the Paul Tracy car during the practice session the other night here in Houston.
I went to the left as we were going to go around the long sweeping right at 4, and this car just started coming across on the left, across the middle of the track, like as if they were moving out for somebody on the other side of the track. And as it happened, it hit my front wheel, and that just knocked me into the wall.
Dan Clark for CTE HVM Racing, still working on the nose of car number 14. So Clark has been on pit road a while. He's lost a couple of laps to the leaders. Justin Wilson in the CDW number 9. Now remember, he had problems and had to make a very early stop tonight. He is up to 15th now, but he has 1 lap down. And we take a look at the car of Jan Halen. Now we saw him off course. Looked as though he just missed the corner, and that'll happen sometimes. Drove down that runoff area, spun the car, kept it running.
And he has had brake trouble all weekend. He actually missed one of the sessions on the racetrack because the brake pedal was going to the floor. So in case that problem has recurred, I mean, to sit out an entire practice session because they were so concerned about the safety, if that returned, boy, you don't want to be out on the racetrack.
Taking the nose bodywork off the 11 car, the Sonny's Barbecue Machine. Race leader continues to be Mario Dominguez, 17 laps on the board. And Jan, we're not too far away, I would say, from green flag pit stops.
It is a case where the window will open, but I think that Mario Dominguez, you could pit as early as lap 26, but as late as lap 36.
We went through the shortcut. We have to give up 1 second of time. Give up 1 second back to board A because of going through the shortcut.
Whoa! Listen to that radio transmission. A penalty.
But thankfully, it's just 1 second. It's not like it's a drive-through. That's one really nice thing that Champ Car has done, is they can look electronically at the times and see how much you pick up if you shortcut the course. And he only has to give back 1 second, which is a very quick little lift of the throttle. He doesn't have to do it dramatically. They just need to see it on the time next time around.
Last time by start finish, the lead for Dominguez over Bourdais, 4.1 seconds. Meantime, here comes Bourdais. He's going to put the CDW 9 car of Wilson another lap down to the second place driver. Wilson off the pace after that early problem in the Rousport machine. He chased Bourdais to the victory at Long Beach. Bourdais winning comfortably in the season opener back in April. And Wilson really struggling here tonight.
You'll notice on the steering wheel of all these cars right in here, that's a track map. Thinking, what the heck you need a track map for? That's because when you speak to your engineer on pit road and you say, I'm having trouble in turn 2, you want to be sure that everybody is on the same page and don't get the data mixed up.
Well, checking the times here, it does not look as yet as though Dominguez has backed off and let Bourdais
get look out!
Second closer. Nicky Pastorelli for Rocket Sports overshot the same corner where Halen went off just a few moments ago.
I thought he was pulling out to make a move, and I was thinking, if you break there, ooh, that's going to be a big one. And thankfully, he got it stopped. Nice thing about night racing, there's no question that car's still running, and he's had trouble getting it in reverse. Look, it looks like he comes up, was going to try and make a move on Damata, but that thing just is not stopping. And thankfully, he split the gap between the two cars, and this weekend, all weekend, he's had trouble. He cannot get it into reverse.
Yeah.
They thought they had it fixed, and now it takes the quick lift to get it around.
Back through the chicane. Here's Zwolsman now putting some pressure on. Zwolsman in 10th. Nelson Philippe right in front of him. The CTE HVM 4 car.
I think he's got him.
Zwolsman to the inside. Gets by Philippe. So Charles Zwolsman with a nice move into 9th position now. Andrew Ranger, the other MyJack Conquest car. The Tide Machine, the 27th. He's back there in 11th. He's trying to draw a beat here on Zwolsman.
I think Nelson Philippe is in trouble because that seemed way too easy for Zwolsman to swoop by there.
That is Philippe directly in front of Ranger. Ranger taking his time, and back there behind them is Cristiano D'Amato, the 2002 Champ Car champion. On board with Zwolsman, looking from the under tray back at the battle behind him now. Zwolsman looking back at Philippe and Ranger.
And that was an assertive move. As soon as he had the opportunity, he was by like a rocket. And obviously Charles Zwolsman is doing a fantastic job. And from this rear shot, you also get a really good view of the bumps down the front straightaway.
And this, of course, leaves Philippe, Ranger, and D'Amato battling for 10th. 10th, 11th, and 12th together down into turn 1 and 1A, the new chicane complex here. Catherine Legg is back there as well. She's 13th and closing in. Now remember, she ran 8th at Long Beach. Best ever finish for a female driver in the Champ Car World Series. And here comes Ranger now.
And Nelson Philippe let him through.
Yep.
So he knows he's in trouble. Yep.
Now we're not that far, as we mentioned. We're about 5 laps away from the opening of the first fuel window for the first round of stops.
Wow, Catherine Legge almost went to the inside of D'Amata.
Cristiano D'Amata, Catherine Legge back there battling for 12th position behind Philippe.
You can't pass there, but you can as soon as you see the green. So that's what they do on a local yellow. The moment that you see the green at the next stop, then passing is allowed. Nelson Philippe in trouble. D'Amata takes advantage. Now here comes Legge.
Catherine Legge to the outside. She may have D'Amata in her gun sights. She moves around Philippe.
One at a time there, Rick.
And D'Amata starts to pull away with Legge in tow. So Nelson Philippe starting to struggle. The Bird and a Bear 4 car. So Zwolsman now is 9th behind Serbia, Ranger to 10th, D'Amata 11th, and Catherine Legge up to 12th. Meantime, at the front of the field, Mario Dominguez, 4.6 seconds to the good, in front of series champ Sebastian Bourdais. Dominguez has led all the way after scoring his first career pole at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll be right back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Hey, did something from this race weekend set you off? If so, call the Wind Tunnel Fired Up line, 866-W-TUNNEL, anytime over the weekend. Leave your message for Dave Despain and the crew, and then check out Wind Tunnel. Dave welcomes guest co-host Casey Kane tomorrow, 9 Eastern, only here on Speed. With the Anbika Cybrick Benjamin, one car in trouble, very slow, and that is Dominguez. As we take a look from our aerial platform here at Reliant Park in Houston, Texas. First time that the Champ Cars have been back in the Lone Star State since 2001. Heading down the front straightaway toward the chicane complex. Mario Dominguez in the Foresight in-deck car. One car through the runoff. That is Dominguez. Yeah, he shortcut the area there.
You could see him come through. He got on the brakes. It started. There's a bump on the approach, and if you have a little bit too much rear brake, he'll start to wiggle. He may get another call from race control saying give up some more time unless he's already, he knows what he's done. But look how close Mr. Sebastian Bourdais is gaining.
I'm wondering if there's a problem there. The gap was 1.7 seconds last time by, and here comes Bourdais. He has closed in. I believe Dominguez has a problem. Bourdais is up on the wheel, and he is right there.
I think that the rear tires may be going away for him. It's a case where that's why Sebastian Bourdais was concerned about the Bridgestone alternates. They might not last quite as long. They're faster, but maybe not quite the same longevity.
Sebastian Bourdais won the opener at Long Beach. Series champion 2 years running. Points leader coming in here tonight. Started 5th after struggling during qualifying. Dominguez from the pole, first time ever in his Champ Car career. He's led the first 26 laps tonight. We go back to Andrew Ranger. And there is the battle for the lead, and Bourdais is right on Dominguez's rear wing. Move over flag being shown.
That was a true move over.
Yeah, that was.
That was like leave the stadium.
Dominguez through the turn 4 complex, big sweep.
Oh, he has the power to pass. You can see the flashing light at the back.
Bourdais to the inside for the lead.
But he's got to get it stopped.
Dominguez right back at him, but he couldn't defend the position at all, and Bourdais jumps to the front on lap 27.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Full course yellow. Full course yellow. Stay out. Pits are closed.
Nice time to take the lead just before a full course caution.
Couldn't have fallen better for Sebastian Bourdais and the McDonald's #1.
But the pit window is open, in my estimation. I don't believe that the leaders will pit, but if you're, say, P5 or farther down, you could pit now and still make it with just one more pit stop.
So the possibility of a fuel gambit, much as we saw the PKV team do last year with Cristiano D'Amata at Portland, does exist. Now Bourdais has dropped behind Dominguez.
You are the leader.
But that is the call from timing and scoring from Champ Car that Bourdais made the pass before the full course yellow was flagged.
Ooh, that was close.
Dominguez doesn't want to give it up.
No. You make sure you go by somebody. Hey, easy, boys.
It's early in the race. No need for that.
Well, see, Dominguez thinks that the position is his, and so he's got. That's a good one. If you come by me, I'll put you in the wall.
Now, Philip Pan is the pit box team manager for the 7th car for Mario Dominguez's team.
Billy Camphausen giving an update to our crew.
And we're being told the caution has been displayed. Some areas of the racetrack. Brand new facility here, of course. Laid out around Reliant Stadium. Reliant Park, they call this huge complex where the old Astrodome sits and where the Houston Texans Stadium is. And another piece of front wing out on the racetrack here. So Champ Car sending the safety team out. That's in the chicane area, turn 1 and 1A.
Now, if the pits stay closed for another lap or two, I change what I said. If it gets another lap or two, you may have the entire field decide to come in and take advantage of this. It's always a great opportunity to pit under yellow.
Safety car is out. Champ Car pace car team out pacing the field. Dominguez still at the head of the field, although we understood at least from the McDonald's team, the Newman Haas team, that Bourdais had made the pass. 100 laps is our distance tonight. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 2 stops necessary. The first window is open right now.
If you stopped now and there was a caution, yeah, you can see some of the teams, lots of the teams are set up. So that extra lap or two with the pits closed, my guess is that we're going to see pretty much everyone take advantage of this.
Now Bourdais has moved to the head of the field behind the safety car. But the lights are still on the Ford Mustang that is our pace vehicle here tonight. Dominguez tucking into second. Pit road is open next time by. Tracy third in the running order with Allmendinger fourth. Junqueira back up to fifth in front of Tagliani and Powell.
One of the things you'll notice during this round of pit stops is that the cars are not going to stop in the places that we're used to. There's a brand new rule in Champ Car this year that if you're a 2-car team, your pit selection is based on the last race. If it's a 2-car team, you can no longer split. So in the case of Newman Haas, they had a great finish with a win in Long Beach for Bourdais, but of course they had their other teammate Bruno Junqueira didn't even make it past the first corner. So you'll see these guys pitted in different positions. That traditional pit out spot for the leader, Sebastian Bourdais, won't be there.
Yeah, that is normally one of the things I think that's benefited the Newman Haas team the last couple of seasons, that they've been able to pit at the end of pit row. Pits are open this time.
It's a huge advantage, but more so for qualifying. And it was actually by design for Champ Car to try and change that, to give everybody a fair shot at having that really, really helpful spot at pit out.
So Bourdais will be the first car onto pit road. Cameron Steele.
Neil McRae, general manager for Foresight Racing. Looks like there's a bit of chaos going on out there. What's happening?
I think there were some back markers that Dominguez and those guys got mixed up with. There did a disagreement about who's leading and who isn't. Clearly at this point, Bourdais is leading, so we'll try to pick it up after that.
Was there a problem with Dominguez where we saw him slowing?
No, I think he may have missed a gear.
All right. Indications are the tires are okay. Here comes Bourdais to the attention of his crew, the McDonald's bunch, and Dominguez pitting as well.
But Dominguez is pitting all the way at pit in, so there'll be a big difference as far as who's getting service. And a little bit of a problem. Oh, Paul Tracy's underway. Mario Dominguez will be underway. But watch Bourdais. He's losing all kinds of time.
Dominguez beating Bourdais off of pit road. You hardly ever see that in this series. That may vault Dominguez back into the lead. 29 laps on the board of 100 tonight. Cristiano D'Amata had a good stop. Nicky Pastorelli back out, as is Nelson Felipe. Bill Stevens.
It has been an emotional roller coaster down here in Sebastian Bourdais' pit. They started off the race not knowing how well the car would handle. They were able to get into the lead, and now after that pit stop, they are very disappointed down here because of what you saw happen.
And you can see they put on the Bridgestone alternate red. So if there's any question for Sebastian Bourdais, if he likes those tires or how long they last, this is a stint we're going to find out. That's the best time to do it, Rick, because there's probably, you still got one more chance to throw the blacks on and take it home.
And if these are good now under the cooler conditions, you can run your second set of reds.
Now this doesn't make any sense. We had
a little trouble. The patch gave up under your jack and caused the car to tilt.
Oh, the patch underneath.
So
they're on air jacks, and so as soon as you hit the air jack, it lifts the car up, and they put little concrete, kind of quick set concrete.
Save fuel, save fuel. I will let you know when we're going back, Prix.
So everybody getting the signal, save the fuel. Now here's the battle between Dominguez and Bourdais for the lead.
And there's no yellow there. The next yellow that you see. Oh, he comes in here.
Oh, that's what forced Dominguez over the rumble strip, and then there was contact down the end of that corner as they exited the turn.
Wow.
And Dominguez saying, hey,
So Dominguez did challenge back. We didn't think that he did, but I believe that Sebastian saw a yellow and eased up, and that's why they want to put him back behind. Now, of course, it doesn't make any difference because we just saw in the pits he gave it up anyway, but wow.
So at the moment, Dominguez is shown as the leader with 30 laps complete. Running order top of your screen. Bourdais will tuck into second in front of Tracy. And it's Allmendinger and Tagliani. Bruno Junqueira sixth. Will Power, Charles Wolfsman, Andrew Ranger, Cristiano D'Amato, rest of the top 10. Getting ready to go green, but not yet. Cameron Steele.
Paul Tracy was having a problem with understeer. They were going to make an adjustment to the wing, but they decided to go with tire pressure, and they think they can fix it that way. We'll see if it works.
Tire pressure is one of the things, Cameron, as you know, that they'll do. There's two choices, is that a spring, the tire works as a spring. I think it's 30% of the spring of the car actually comes from the sidewall of the tire. So a couple of pounds in the tire is like changing the springs. Sometimes it's wing, sometimes it's springs. They go for springs.
Before we go green here, Michelle Beisner has been with us, of course, all week here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston, checking out the scene around Reliant Park and elsewhere. And she found some very interesting things that happened here around the race course over the course of the last couple of days. She's already been on that bucking Bronco one time. Michelle, what else have you found for us this weekend?
Welcome to the gun show, baby. And with just a few days until the men and one very strong woman battle it out on the track here at the Grand Prix of Houston, I was able to go behind the scenes and get ringside here for all the action. It's Thursday night fight night, and it's not just any fight night. This is Oscar De La Hoya's fight night, with 5 nights on the card, starting from the featherweight on up to the NABO welterweight championship. The action was hot. I picked up a few moves, and I think I'm ready for the ring. What do you think, Jeff, huh? Oh! Jeff, are you okay? Jeff, are you okay? Is the camera okay? How do I look?
Paging Clint Eastwood.
Fuzzy.
$1 Million Baby 2, perhaps, in the offing in the months to come. 31 laps are on the board, under caution. Taking a look at some areas of the racetrack, some debris that needed to be cleaned up. We saw one of the winglets off the nose of one of the cars in the field tonight. Maya Dominguez, that Orgullo de Mexico car, goes back to the lead based on a quicker pit stop. Problems for the McDonald's team, as we documented a moment ago. So as we prepare to get going here, on lap number 32, field lining up behind the safety car. Before we restart tonight, Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of Houston, let's check in with our friends at Ford Motor Company. Tonight's Ford bold move.
The Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck in America for 31 years now, and you can see why. It's a combination of comfort, of versatility, and of safety. And speaking of safety, I'm here with Lon Bromley, who's the director of the Champ Car Safety Team. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Well, we bring 25 paramedic firefighters and doctors to each Champ Car race to provide emergency medical care to all our drivers.
And how does the Ford F-150 work best for your team?
It provides us with the ability to carry all our extrication equipment, our Homatro gear, and firefighting and rescue equipment.
Well, you heard it straight for the man. He uses only the best to get it done out here for the Champ Car World Series.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston, second race of the 2006 season. Speed Fantasy Cup Racing has the games for you, the original, the richest, $750,000 cash and prizes. Sign up by May 20th to play Nextel All-Star Challenge. You could win $10,000. Check the link at speedtv.com. Sign up tonight. With Jan Bica, Cyberic Benjamin, trouble again. The cars went green briefly, and on the first lap under green, Jan Halen in trouble again with Nicky Pastorelli. There was contact, and we're back to full course caution on lap number 35. We'll show you what happened. J.D. Wilbur with the twin yellow flags in the flag stand. Here they are heading into the chicane, turn 1A.
And anytime you see a flashing light, that means someone is on the power to pass. And Nicky Pastorelli in number 8 just punched the back of Jan Halen, who we thought at one time had braking issues, but they obviously seemed to have fixed that car. He was back out, but got center punched in the gearbox.
Well, I'm starting to wonder if Pastorelli in the Rocket Sports 8 car doesn't have brake problems. Now, that's the second time we've seen him just flat overrun a turn.
Yes, that's true. The other time he was able to hit the gap. This time there's no gap to hit. Next stop was that gearbox.
Pastorelli taking over the Rocket Sports ride after Long Beach. Antonio Pizzonia had a great result at Long Beach in that car, but it is now Pastorelli's ride for the balance of the season, we understand, as we watch Mario Dominguez. Now, if you were away for a couple of moments, Dominguez led from the pole, many laps, gave up the lead to Bourdais, got it back on pit road. Bill Stevens.
Well, we all saw what happened when Sebastian Bourdais came into the pits just a little while ago. As you can see, out in pit lane, right where he parks the car, the cement has been repaired in the past. When he came in for his pit stop, the onboard jack came down, moved the car up, but actually took a piece of the cement out of the pit lane. The jack was unstable. That cost him valuable seconds, and he lost the lead.
And that's one of those things that's, I think it'll be hard for him to bounce back from that. Yeah. I mean, that's a situation he's got to pit the car one more time.
Well, all you have to do is move the car about 6 inches and you're on a new piece.
If it holds up. We will see. Red tires, the Bridgestone alternates on Sebastian Bourdais' car. He will restart in second spot in 35 laps on the board.
One thing about Newman Haas is they know how to engineer things, and they can engineer concrete, asphalt, and race cars, and I have a feeling that they'll have that figured out in no time.
Paul Tracy will restart in third position. The Forsyth Index car number 3, former series champion, just re-signed for 5 more seasons in Champ Car.
Yeah, that 5 years is a big number, and that's great for the series.
Absolutely. Time now to take a look at our Mazda Power Play here this weekend in Houston. The Champ Car Atlantic Championship part of the weekend's fun, and it was a wild one. Big scramble down into the first corner. A couple of cars damaged. We saw Andreas Wirth, who won the opener, battle hard with Rafael Matos in car number 6. They swapped the lead a couple of times. Graham Rahal ran third in the Gale car, MyJack Conquest number 18. Watch this. On a restart, Alex Barron went over the back end of Norbert Siedler's machine. Nobody hurt. Now Matos, who was challenging up front again, got clipped by Graham Rahal, and that took him out of contention. Andreas Wirth winning second consecutive race, first time in 14 Atlantic Championship seasons, but the same driver has won the first 2 rounds of the championship in a year. Yokohama presents the Champ Car Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda, our Mazda Power Play here at Houston. Still under caution as we get ready for a restart. Looks like they'll be bringing the safety car in, and we will go back to racing, this time by driver starting to get back on the throttle. This is turn 9. Green back in the air.
I think the guy you want to watch here is Paul Tracy, because Paul Tracy is well aware that we have Sebastian Bourdais on the tires that he doesn't care for, and he's going to go after him.
Tracy on board here, the Index Forsyth 3 car. Running over top of your screen. Presented by Ford. Dominguez back out in front. Tracy running third. PT, one of the drivers, taken out of that turn 1 wreck at Long Beach. He and Dominguez got together. Royal Servia, AJ Allmendinger also involved.
And there's that part of the racetrack that you asked about. Why is he not on driver's right? That is just to avoid some really big bumps on driver's right. Not the fastest way around. Well, it is the fastest way because you have a few bumps you must avoid. And it looks like Sebastian Bourdais is not having any trouble with the reds. No. Like I said, these cool temperatures at night may not be a problem. For more, let's get to Bill Stevens.
Yeah, I just talked to Craig Hampson a few moments ago, and he looked like a guy who's about to open his birthday present and is hoping he gets what he wants. He's a little cautiously optimistic right now, but I got to tell you, the complexion and the attitude of this team has swung 180 degrees from the beginning of the race.
That's been an up and down night so far, certainly for the 2-time series champ. That problem on pit road, nothing they could have controlled clearly, but something that certainly caught them out and cost him the lead at that time after he had raced his way by Mario Dominguez. Well, coming up, of course, here on Speed all season long, you can catch all of the Champ Car World Series action. We'll re-air the Grand Prix of Houston only on Speed. It's Wednesday at noon Eastern time, Wednesday the 17th of May. It'll tee you up. You can watch it one more time before we go to Fundadora Park next Sunday, Monterrey, Mexico, for the 3rd round of the Champ Car World Series season. Champ Car Grand Prix of Monterrey.
Now, I saw some flashing lights that I think came from Sebastian Bourdais, and sure enough, see, they're changing the marks. Those T's that they spray paint, and you see they are moving it about 6 inches, just like I spoke about, so that jack will not hit the same spots.
One more pit stop coming for the field. 37 laps are complete. Bourdais second. Back to Bill.
Guys, one thing to keep in mind as we get deeper into the race, Sebastian Bourdais has 22 seconds of power to pass left. He just talked to his crew, and the plan is to try to use it to fend off Tracy rather than to go after Dominguez.
And Bill, that's just what I was talking about. As I saw the light flashing, I knew he was on the Cosworth power to pass, and look down. He does only have 22 seconds as we have another spin. Justin Wilson's just having a tough night. And I think for Sebastian Bourdais, he's worried about Paul Tracy. And you know what? Paul Tracy is the one guy in this field that will definitely worry Sebastian Bourdais.
Well, if you go back to 2005, those two tangled several times, and it seemed, Jan, as though the only driver in Champ Car who could possibly get under Sebastian Bourdais' cool exterior is Paul Tracy.
Yes, and let's see what happened to Justin Wilson here. A case where he gets in a little bit hot, tries to get it turned in, can't do so. Rousport have had a weekend to where the cars are really fast in one session, and that's just a case, that's that bump that we spoke about. You get on the brakes, you get that oscillation going across the bump, you have a little bit too much rear brake, and boy, that thing wants to step out.
Just upset the car going in there. He tried to broadside it through the corner, didn't quite make it, and then I think did a very nice job spinning that car into the little runoff area, keeping it out of harm's way. Back on board, the CDW9. One of the Rousport cars, second in the championship. Now Serbia and Andrew Ranger in the Tide MyJack Conquest machine. They're battling for position, but this is back in 10th and 11th. So Oriole Serbia, now they put a new nose piece on, huh?
That's the nice thing about a caution period when you're going to make a pit stop. Sure, you'll lose some position, but go ahead and put a new nose cone. So hopefully Oriole Serbia, who has shown some flashes of brilliance throughout the weekend, maybe he can get up to speed.
PKV Racing undergoing some significant changes since we were at Long Beach a couple of weeks ago. Serbia with a lot to celebrate here this weekend. Not his run so far as we watch Andrew Ranger's car. Ranger in the MyJack Conquest Tide machine back there in 9th position right now. But Serbia celebrating his 100th career start here tonight. Had his first career win a year ago when he was subbing for Bruno Junqueira at Newman Haas.
And there were certainly times when he was working his way through the formulas on the way up to say that he'd have 100 starts. It's a big, big day for Oriole Serbia.
Now they've made the cake for him, but he vowed not to eat any of it, I guess, till the checkered flag tonight.
I said, I'm not going to have a bite of that until I bring the thing home. He wants to have his win and eat it too.
Now the flip side of this, of course, is that Jimmy Vassar, who ran at Long Beach and we're told will make selected starts this year, his streak of 211 consecutive starts came to a close here at Houston this weekend. Jimmy not retiring, but not running the full schedule. He's up on the pit box for PKV, along with general manager Jim McGee, who's here, but of course Steve Krisiloff, the team manager, has departed. Vassar ending that streak of 211 starts in Serbia, as we mentioned, his 100th consecutive, or 100th career Champ Car start. His 7th team in 7 seasons of Champ Car racing. If you have a good memory, you might remember PPI Racing. That's where he started a long time ago. Here's Serbia, car number 6. Gulfstream Louisville, back in 9th now. He's gotten around Andrew Ranger. On board with the MyJack Conquest 34, Charles Wolzman. He's picked his way up through the field. He's come up to 8th now.
Now at nighttime, you can get a very nice look at the steering wheel. And of course, the numbers that are in the center are so easy to see at night. That gives you so much information nowadays. There's no dashboard. All the information comes from the steering wheel, your lap time, your fuel, your RPM, shift lights. It's all on the steering wheel. It's a very, very cool thing, especially at night. Sure. You can see everything you need to.
Here's Serbia now behind Wolzman. Wolzman doing a nice job, I think. Started 11th. He's gained 3 positions on a track where it's difficult to pass, and that was one of the big stories that we were focused on coming in here tonight, how difficult it is to find a place to get by somebody.
And he's a case, he's also playing hurt. He got hurt at the first race, actually the first test and the first race. So on a bumpy racetrack, doing a nice job. Cameron?
Well, I'm here with Nicky Passarelli, and Nicky, problems with the brakes, I understand. Is it just the rough course that gave you all the problems with the brakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because we started pretty good. I overtook immediately Catherine Legge and the car was handling very, very good. We were quite fast. And then when we started having problems with the brakes, the pedal just went down. So I cut the chicane and even touched Jan Helen after the safety car restart. But, you know, it happens. At least we were fast.
Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying Champ Car?
Oh, yeah, very much. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to seeing him at the next race, boys.
Full course caution. Catherine Legge has spun and backed the Bell Micro number 20 for the PKV team. We were talking about her teammate Oriole Serbia. Catherine has stalled that race car. Finished 8th at Long Beach. best career finish by a female in Champ Car.
It's Tom Brown. Wow,
contact there.
Talking about Dan Clark, and what you heard from his pits, he needs to be parked. And she agrees.
Now we saw how Dan Clark got into the wall around turn 4. Contact with Paul Tracy Thursday.
Millions of dollars worth of damage.
Some criticism of Speedy Dan Clark. Catherine Legg and Clark tangling, and Legg has spun and stalled the 20 car. All right, Mario Dominguez continues to lead. We're 7 laps short of halfway in Houston. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Our coverage today is brought to you by Mobil 1, extended performance, the oil that's changing oil. By CDW, the right technology right away. And by Mazda, always the soul of a sports car. Under caution at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Here's your chance to enter the Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Monterey next week and a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires or a subscription to Auto Week. Grand prize winner gets a brand new Ford Mustang GT and will join us in Mexico City for the series finale. This week's code word is Catherine. For official rules and to enter, log on to champcar.ws, the series website. Champ Car's Live Fast sweepstakes is presented by Bridgestone. To Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with Jimmy Vasser. After 211 consecutive starts, he's taken his team ownership position a little differently at PKV. It's got to be tough, JV, to be up here. And what's going on with Catherine right now?
Well, I think she got taken out by Speedy Dan, and she's just in here getting her wing now. She's been doing a good job, and you know, it's a tough learning curve for her, but yeah, a little bit difficult for me, you know, to watch the cars roll off and not be part of the grid today. But you know, such is life. You got to move on. I'm really excited about my opportunities here to take on a new role at PKV for the future.
Thank you, Jimmy. I know we'll see you back in the car later this season, though, right?
Maybe a couple times. Who knows?
Looking forward to it. Jay Vasser.
Well, when we're talking about Speedy Dan and you heard the radio conversations, you're thinking, well, what was the thing? Remember, Speedy Dan was 15 laps down.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was just trying to pick up a position, and that's got to be so frustrating for Catherine, who's been clean the whole weekend, to get punted by somebody who has no business trying to make that pass in the first place. D'Amata in for service.
A lot of getting tires and getting fuel, of course. Now we're at lap 45, 55 to go, Young. Oh, and he stalled the car.
No, they told him to stop. Something wasn't tight.
A.J. Allmendinger in the Roo Sport Red Bull number 10. Allmendinger quietly up to 4th. He's doing a very nice job here tonight. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Carl Russo, the owner of Roo Sport. It's been a race filled with surprises so far, but your driver, A.J. Allmendinger, looks like he's on a pretty good run today.
A.J.'s on a good run. He's brought the Roo Sport car up to position 4. Seems to have good pace. I think we've got a good tire strategy. In the back, obviously, Justin's had a heck of a race. He got tagged on the first lap. Here we go again. The CDW car has been working very well. He's got a fast car. We've got him on a good strategy. We think he's going to work himself back up into the top 5 as well.
So he may have something left for the 3 cars ahead of him right now.
We think he has something left for the 8 cars ahead of him. So that's the whole purpose, is to bring technology forward fast. That's what these folks do.
Good deal.
Carl Russo with his salesman's hat on tonight up on top of the pit box. CDW, of course, the major sponsor of Justin Wilson's team. Twice a winner last year. And, you know, Wilson, and all the difficulties he's had tonight, he's gotten himself back on the lead lap, Jan.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a case where you got to stay with it. You got to keep after it. You don't want to quit. You want to stay in there and just take it through and see it to the finish. You never know on these tight circuits.
Green flag back in the air. J.D. Wilbur drops the rag, and we're off and running again in Houston. Now the Aussie Vineyards cars down into the first turn. Your leader is Dominguez on the restart. From the pole, he led early. Bourdais got by him, had a problem on pit road during his first stop of the night. Air jack on some crumbling concrete cost him time on pit road and vaulted Dominguez back in front. And these two guys have already tangled once here tonight. And Bourdais right up on the rear wing of Dominguez as they head for turn 4.
Mario Dominguez seems to be struggling a little bit, and he hits the power to pass. He hits the Cosworth power to pass. He knew that he was in trouble and needed to use it defensively. Now they have Cristiano D'Amata to work their way through. This is going to be dicey. I think that Mario Dominguez, it's taking him a while to get these black sidewall Bridgestones up to temp.
He will close the race on the Reds. Bourdais will have that option if he chooses to.
Well, not necessarily. You only have to run the Reds once, and he started on them. Here he comes.
Bourdais alongside Dominguez for the lead.
And
Tracy's right there.
Tracy's all over this.
To the front straightaway. Top 3 are nose to tail. Tracy's on the button now.
Oh, they both are. He blocks him. You can't do that.
Into the chicane.
Oh, he changed his line. That is going to be frowned upon.
Good stuff. And A.J. Allmendinger right there without burning power to pass time.
Oh, that's one of those things where, boy, right when Paul Tracy went to pass him, my car hit a bump and it moved over about 3 feet.
Amazing. How could that ever happen, right?
I don't know. These bumps are very hard to take here at Houston.
Well, the interesting thing, too, Jan, we've been talking to these drivers. They've talked about how they need to be in this line.
Yes,
he blocked the... They've got to keep Paul Tracy's head in the game. Neil Mickelwright talking to him there.
He says, you know, Paul, he knows.
Blocked the stuffing out of him,
yeah,
did he?
He definitely did. And they're going to obviously make a call. You can guarantee that Neil Mickelwright is leaning into the ear of a Champ Car official right now saying, go look at that thing on your TiVo machine. I want you to take a close look.
Here's Bourdais down the main straightaway toward turn 1 with Tracy. Here's the chicane again. This is Dominguez, your leader, in the Orgullo de Mexico 7 car for the Forsythe team.
Now, when I say TiVo machine, what happens if you're not familiar is that they have a race control with every camera on the racetrack. All are onto a hard drive or a DVR, same technology as a TiVo, and they can go back and look at any place on the racetrack anytime they want.
Cameron Steele.
Neil, they're talking about possible blocking going on out there. What is Paul saying in your ear, and what did you see?
What I saw on the TV certainly looked like blocking as defined in the rule book, and certainly Paul, from his perspective, felt that he was blocked on several occasions, not this one.
Oh, so there you have it. More than one block possibly going on. Paul Tracy not happy about it.
And we have official word from upstairs. They are watching 7 and 1 for blocking. Bill?
Yes, I just spoke to Craig Hampson just this second. He was told that Sebastian will be warned for blocking, so will be no penalty at the moment.
And that's a radio call, Jan?
Well, it's a call where, you know, Tony's been pretty consistent. He'll give drivers 1. He's not supposed to, but he's very sensitive about wrecking somebody's day, because that's a hard call to be able to say, you know, I was joking about the bump moving the car. You know, the bumps do move the car. That just happened to be very, very convenient.
Champ Car's Vice President of Operations, Tony Coppin, is also the race director. Watches from race control. Same thing you're seeing, but a lot more angles of it generally.
I'll put it this way. If I had Paul Tracy behind me and he was on power to pass, my car would also hit a bump.
Sure.
You got to try it.
Sure.
You're not just going to let him through. Now, was he blocking? Yes. And they let him slide. If he does it again, I guarantee you he's going to get the hammer down on him.
Half a second separating the top 2. Dominguez is out in front of the 7 with 2 career wins. And you know Sebastian Bourdais' record. He's been the dominant player since he came on the scene a couple of seasons back. 2 consecutive championships. Trying to become the first Champ Car driver since the legendary Ted Horn to win 3 straight. Points leader coming in after round number 1. Tracy 3rd right there. We're on board with PT in the in-deck Forsythe number 3. The chicane heading toward turn 2. Years old, races now out of Fort Lauderdale. 30 career victories in his Champ Car career, the 2003 Series champion.
Now, the reason Paul Tracy is so frustrated is that Paul Tracy is one of these drivers that is really good when the tires are cold. He can drive a car off a pit road better than anybody. Well, that's gone now. That advantage that he has, that was the one opportunity for him possibly to get by Bourdais, and if that's the one time Bourdais throws a block at you, that kills you.
Sure.
So obviously that's why he is upset, but it's a very tough call when you have, you know, maybe a 3-foot violation on a very, very bumpy racetrack to be able to say, okay, pull on the pit road.
And as good as the McDonald's team is and Bourdais is, he knows that might have been his only chance tonight.
It's possible.
We are, of course, just past halfway. J.D. Wilbur had the cross flags out last time by, so we're working lap number 52. Tracy up through the gears quickly now. This is a lot of lower gears used on a racetrack like this. It's only 1.7 miles around. Next week, of course, a natural terrain road course in Monterrey, Mexico. Fundadora Park. Looking forward to going down there. You'll see our coverage live. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Monterrey next Sunday here on Speed.
You talked about lower gears. They use second gear in a lot of these corners. And going through that turn 1, or I should say 1A chicane, Catherine still getting some service on pit road, hoping to get her some track time. But those second gear corners around the racetrack, there's quite a few of them, down to 35 miles an hour in that first complex of corners. That's about the slowest corner you see on the circuit, with the exception of the Long Beach hairpin.
Tracy is third. PT started there. It's been an event-filled night if you're just joining us. Running order top of your screen with lap times, courtesy of our friends at Bridgestone, official tire supplier. As Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Bourdais second, and McDonald's number 1. Dominguez managing to hang onto the lead. Now, Jan, I'm really impressed by the drive Dominguez is turning in here tonight. It appears to me that he does not have as good a race car at the moment as Bourdais does. He's managed to stay out in front.
I believe that what happens is that when you're on the Bridgestone alternates, that as you get to the end of your stint, they go away. So he's on the black sidewall now, doesn't have to use them again, and I think his car is good.
All right, top 3 have settled down. It's still Dominguez, Bourdais, and Tracy. Allmendinger is the threat in front of Tagliani. We'll be right back with more of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Back at Reliant Park, the Champ Car World Series, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston, second race of the 2006 season here on Speed. Wednesday night on Unique Whips. Will & Company go old school. Atlanta Braves superstar Andrew Jones is Buick Electra. It's an all-new Unique Whips. 10 Eastern, Wednesday night only here on Speed. With Jan Beek, Cyberic Benjamin, Bill Stevens, Cameron Steele on pit road. The CDW9 car of Justin Wilson, twice a winner last season, second in the championship standings after Long Beach. And Jan, we talked about how he is really starting to get the job done. Got back on the lead lap. He's moved to 12th right now. Cameron Steele.
I'm here in the Catherine Legge pit, and what's going on is not only are they replacing the wing, but the plates that mount the wing were also damaged. That is taking longer than they thought. The team is saying they are going to send her back out, hoping that other cars drop out in a case to get more points.
Well, you need to make laps, and she needs seat time as well. So that's an important decision, I think, made by Jim McGee and Jimmy Vassar.
Well, it's also one that is something you want to do. It's kind of the get back on the horse type of thing.
Yeah.
You want to be tuned up for the next event, go out and get some seat time.
Watching Dominguez, Bourdais, and Tracy, top 3 through the turn 4 area. This is right in front of the old Astrodome here at Reliant Park. Dominguez managing to hold off Bourdais.
Now, you had said to me that, Mario had done a fantastic job because it didn't appear as though he had the same car that Bourdais did. I agree with you. He was in big trouble on the Reds, but I do believe on the primary tire, on the Bridgestone, that Mario Dominguez can keep him at bay. And so if he just can now stay consistent, because as this goes on, it's going to get easier for Dominguez.
44 to go. Bill Stevens, what's going on at your end of pit road?
Well, one of the busiest men on pit road is Craig Hampson. What a night you've had. The pit lane coming apart, your driver being warned for blocking rather. What is your main priority right now? What's the focus, Craig?
Well, I think right now we're just holding where we are, hoping we don't have to deal with Tracy behind us, and I think we're just content to run behind Mario. What we're hoping to do is go one lap further than Mario and Paul on fuel. We're working really hard to make good fuel mileage right now. If we go that one lap further, potentially we can pass them. If we have a good pit stop, the pit lane's a bit of a worry. We've moved our marks. We're going to try and stop them in a different spot, and hopefully we have a smooth stop this time.
The gears are turning down here.
And it's a case where when you want to save fuel, what they're calling Sebastian Bourdais and say, save us some fuel, at the end of any straightaway where you have to lift off the throttle, you just lift off the throttle a fraction of a second earlier than you would do normally. There's no electronic adjustments, nothing in the car you can do. It all has to be manually just by the way you drive the car. Sebastian Bourdais, of course, has lots of practice at that.
Sure.
Again, he has plenty of fuel to make it, but if he can go one more lap, he's going to be on the track going faster with a light load, while everyone else will be heavy with fuel.
Overhead view here at Reliant Park. Battle up front. The two Forsyth Index machines bracketing Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car number 1. Dominguez with about a 10-car length lead and a good jump off the corner. He added to the lead there momentarily over Bourdais. Now Bourdais on those Bridgestone Reds, the all-event tires that his car has not really liked all weekend long.
And they're going to get worse. And Paul Tracy can come. You can see from that onboard shot, he's definitely on the primaries as well. If I was Paul Tracy, I know he's trying. Paul Tracy needs to get right on top of Bourdais and see if Bourdais will throw him another block. Yeah, that's what I would do. Just fake him into making a block because he's been warned, and that's something he cannot do. He does really need, if he wants to help out Mario, and of course he'd like to have the spot, he needs to worry Bourdais.
Best rivalry in open wheel racing in the eyes of many. The one between Bourdais and Tracy really raged last year at Monterrey, Mexico. Thunderdora Park, they got together. That was the first time in 2005. Then, of course, they had the big tangle, of course, at Toronto and the huge hit at Las Vegas late in the year. First time for the series back in Houston since 2001. Brand new facility, brand new racetrack laid out here at Reliant Park, and a great crowd on hand tonight. Really a testimony, I think, to the MyJack folks, Mike Lanigan and his team, that staged this race. They'll be the promoters at Cleveland this year and for many years to come as well. And all the facility here really laid out beautifully, and plenty of grandstands and a lot of fun things for the fans to enjoy. And it's been a terrific weekend. We've really enjoyed our trip to Houston here this year as well.
They have some options as well as the way the circuit can be configured, and they've learned some things definitely here the first time around. My guess is that when they come back, they can do more grinding, they can change the configuration, and then really spruce it up, make it smoother and more passing zones.
And a great package really for the fans. The American Le Mans Series was here earlier in the weekend, the Champ Car Atlantic Championship along with the Star Mazda Series. So, fans certainly have had a great value for their entertainment dollar this weekend. Sebastian Bourdais, the McDonald's car #1, the Newman Haas team, the Team Centrix entry.
Meaning that his fuel number, that means they can make the extra lap. I mean, reading between the lines, Craig Hampson just said that was their goal, and he says, now we're okay. So, meaning, I'm okay, I can make another lap, I can use a little more fuel, because I don't like seeing Paul Tracy in my mirrors.
Yeah. And that could be the turning point as well. A lot of these races are won on fuel strategy and pit road activity, whether you get a quicker stop, whether you stop at the right time. Now, Paul Tracy, over the last 5 laps, his lap times have started to come down. Of course, the fuel load's getting low.
Yes, and Paul Tracy and the Foresight Index team have some new software, as some of the other teams use as well. It's like an intelligent software that calculates your pit window and other people's, so they might be doing the same thing.
Alex Tagliani up there right behind A.J. Allmendinger, but he's getting pressure now from Bruno Junqueira, who seems to have solved some of his problems. Here's Tag in the Aussie Vineyards Team Australia car. Right up behind A.J. Allmendinger, about half a second separating those two cars. On outside pole sitter Bruno Junqueira, the hole-in-the-wall Camp's car.
He's close enough to where you might start seeing that flashing light at the back. Cosworth power to pass with that 75 horsepower seems to be very effective. He said use it if you need it, and that's power to pass.
Here comes Allmendinger, still ahead of Tagliani, 4th and 5th.
Oh, they both shortcut.
Yeah, Tag and Allmendinger both missing the second part of the chicane there.
He's so focused on Allmendinger.
Here comes Tagliani now. Is he on the button?
I don't think he needed to be. I think Allmendinger's in trouble.
Tagliani getting by Allmendinger on the inside. So AJ, who was 4th,
here comes
now
Bruno.
Slipping off the pace, and Junqueira. Allmendinger moves around him.
Don't try it there. Yikes!
Bruno to the outside, heading to 5.
Don't touch him. Yikes!
Oh, they get together. They get together.
He keeps going. Awesome.
Avoided a huge hit. Allmendinger back on the throttle. Now here comes Will Power in the mix. That's the other green and yellow car. Allmendinger struggling. He's really got a problem. Now, he may have a tire down. I think he's got a cut tire. Junqueira gets by. Serbia trying to get by. Will Power is there in the mix, and Allmendinger's holding them up at the moment. He wants to get to pit road. Bill Stevens.
And one of the reasons A.J. Allmendinger in trouble is because he told his crew just about 10 laps ago his tires were going away fast, and now you're seeing the product of that.
Allmendinger really struggling to hang onto the race car. Down the inside, Andrew Ranger forces Will Power offline. Power cuts through.
And that was a good pass in my view. I think Will Power should let him through. Wow, Oriol Serbia with a big power slide.
Trying to get around, and Allmendinger moves up the racetrack and lets both Serbia and Zolzman get by. So Tagliani is now 4th, Junqueira 5th, Allmendinger getting shuffled back behind Serbia and behind Zolzman, who is 7th. Allmendinger, his fastest lap, a 1:01. Last lap, 6.5 seconds slower, so you know.
Well, yeah, but he was like sideways, almost stopped. Chunk, 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 chunk. You know, he and Junqueira getting together, and amazing these guys even kept moving.
Now he's got the softer Bridgestone Reds, the alternates on, but yeah, losing 6 seconds. I mean, when they go away, they wouldn't go away that much.
No, like I said, it was because they contacted each other and almost came to a stop. But he's going to go into the pits because that's not going to work.
There is the 5 car of Will Power. Power down the front straightaway, and Allmendinger finally making the stop. 37 laps to go. Now is his fuel window open? We've had a lot of caution laps.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
They try to talk him through it, and obviously they're going to go with the standards.
You're clear.
He should. Yeah, he's just in the window. So they took the first opportunity to have enough fuel to get to the end. So he'll be good, but obviously he's got a lot of making up to do now.
We'll see where Allmendinger rejoins, being scored.
In front of the leader.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man, don't warm them up that way. That was a 9.6 second stop, by the way.
Good time, certainly, for the Rousport team. Third year they've all been together, so their game continues to be raised. What about Justin Wilson, his teammate, the CDW 9, still 12th on the lead lap. 24-year-old A.J. Allmendinger, team based in Loveland, Colorado. A.J. now in Denver. Starting to get on a roll at the end of 2005, second at Mexico City to close the season. Allmendinger back on the gas. Cameron Steele.
I just talked to Jeremy Dale on the A.J. Allmendinger crew, and he said that they may be able to make it all the way to the end. He says close, very close. The reason they came in, the tires were just going away on the rear.
He now has to try and keep from going a lap down. Now this is tricky because he's not really up to speed yet. Jeremy Dale wants to see what's happening. It's a case where he can't hold up the leader, but if he's fast enough, once he gets some heat in the brand new tires, he might be able to without incurring a penalty.
Allmendinger being scored 11th at the moment, just in front of his teammate Wilson. Allmendinger a moment ago when we were watching the action on the racetrack was busily trying to hold off Mario Dominguez and stay on the lead lap. Here's Andrew Ranger. Right behind him, Will Power, the Aussie Vineyards number 5. So Ranger in the MyJack Conquest car is 8th, Power 9th. The battle's starting to rage, less than a second separating the two last time by. Power about 12 car lengths in arrears as they come down the front straightaway. Bill Stevens.
They're pretty happy down here in the Aussie Vineyards pit. Derek Walker, the team owner, has been watching very intently what's going on out there. We see what Will Power and Tagliani is doing. Remember, he had a podium finish in Long Beach. I said to Derek, I said, what a race. He says, man, this is a knicker gripper.
As only Derek can say.
Well, you drove for him. You heard all those expressions.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's
yes.
Preserve the tires.
Anytime you have to do a stint on the alternates, we're learning you have to preserve them.
Mario Dominguez, he has been credited with leading all the way. Now Bourdais was shown as the leader on the scoring monitor briefly as those two tangled back at about the 30 lap mark tonight, but after all the shuffling was complete and Champ Car officials took a look at things, well, Dominguez was put back at the front of the back. Of course, he got back around Bourdais on pit road during a caution period, so at the moment, at least, Dominguez being credited with leading the whole.
Oh, no!
He locks up the brakes. Dominguez misses the corner. Race leader Mario Dominguez spins the car. He was 2.5 seconds ahead of Bourdais. That no doubt will cost him the lead on lap number 67. And Dominguez comes out right in front of the car of A.J. Allmendinger, the Rousport 10 car. So Bourdais gets vaulted to the lead. Didn't even have to make a move.
Remember that thing we said? Unforced errors?
Yep.
That was the description of an unforced error. Came in a little too hot, lost concentration. Oh, that's brutal.
Now that was a very quick job by Dominguez to spin the car, keep it running, but that had to have cost him 20 seconds.
Well, cost him 2 spots.
Take a look at it. Bourdais is in front. Sebastian Bourdais, who started 5th. Championship leader, he is out in front. One more look at what happened to Dominguez here.
Just same line as always.
Turn
Got
5.
up there and just a little too hot. Got some front brake lockup, which is what you want. You always want the front brakes to lock just a little bit before the rear, just in case, or as the track gets a little more slippery, he missed the braking point. Now this was brilliant, you know, to get it going, not to stall it and get going again, but unfortunately, just that one little lapse of concentration. Remember, we talked about the fitness as well. Yeah. These guys are whipped, and you can make mental mistakes.
A third of the race left. Mario Dominguez gunning for his 3rd career victory, but with 33 to go, he runs out of racetrack. Bourdais is out in front. Tracy is 2nd. Dominguez, Tagliani, and Junqueira, the rest of the top 5 in Houston. We'll be back.
It was my first time in China.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. 31 laps to go. Bill Stevens.
Sebastian Bourdais into the pits. They're taking off the alternate tires and putting on, you can even see right there, brand new sticker tires on all 4 corners. Remember now, they were not very happy with the way that the Reds performed during practice and qualifying. If he's going to make a run, those are the tires they're going to want to make it with.
That was a 9.9 second stop, and we could see from the overhead view that Paul Tracy...
trouble. Huge wreck for Charles Zwolsman. The MyJack Conquest 34, the Speed Racer car. Zwolsman, obviously, huge contact with the wall. He is done.
And that is perfect timing for Tracy and Bourdais to pit. If they had not pitted before, that would have hurt them. They got their stop done, and then the caution comes out. That's absolutely perfect timing.
Zwolsman had a really good run going. He had gotten up into 8th position in that 34 car. His second career Champ Car start after a sterling career in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship. Have a look at what happened to him coming to the first turn.
Locked up. Oh, it was not his fault. Definitely not his fault.
Will Power got into the 34 car. He had locked up the brakes on the 34, or the 5 car, I should say. On board with Zwolsman.
No better place to look at that. You can see that Will Power's in all kinds of trouble. He's just trying to get out. Oh, man, that's just... I was going to comment earlier that he was having a fantastic race.
He's waiting for Power to express his displeasure, I suspect you could say.
I mean, Will Power was in some kind of trouble there, for sure. But, you know, when the front brakes lock up, let your foot off the brake. Get the things turning again.
Now Power alongside one of the Dale Coyne cars, the Sonny's Barbecue Machine. They'll have to come and get the 34 with the hook here tonight. It is down in that little runoff area in the chicane. Your chance now to enter the Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Monterey next week, plus a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires, an Auto Week subscription, where the grand prize winner gets a new Ford Mustang GT and a trip to Mexico City for the Champ Car finale. This week's code word is Catherine. For official rules and to enter, log on to champcar.ws. The Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes is presented by Bridgestone. With the Ibicus, I'm Rick Benjamin, under caution tonight on lap number 72. 28 to go. One of the Champ Car safety team talking to Charles Zwolsman, who's very personable. We visited with him this morning for a few moments, and he was wearing that brace on his left wrist after that injury he suffered in testing, and then they kind of retweaked it, I guess, at Long Beach, but said it was a little bit sore, but not bad. He was looking forward to a good run tonight, and certainly was doing a fine job.
Every time that we saw him, he was aggressive. Anytime there was an opening, he just stuck the car right in there. You know, for a rookie, he was very, very impressive, and that was a case where, what are you going to do? I mean, that was a mugging.
Running order, top of your screen now. We saw A.J. Allmendinger pit under green at the very opening of his pit window. He had that problem. He was running fourth. We're thinking, of course, the track position that would vault him to the head of the class.
Well, no, because what happened was, that's why I said it was so important that Mario Dominguez, Bourdais, Tracy, they got in just before this caution. If they would have waited one more lap, then A.J. Allmendinger would have vaulted. And that's the thing you're always concerned about, getting caught by yellow. And their timing was absolutely perfect.
So Bourdais is the leader. Tracy in second. Dominguez and Tagliani, the top four. Bill Stevens.
Down here once again with Craig Hampson. An evening where it's just been up and down the emotions. After you pitted the yellow flag, and I saw you guys were high-fiving.
Well, we actually pitted a lap earlier than we planned to because I guess they ran Bruno out of fuel. And I was worried that it might go yellow for that, so we called him in a lap early, because if it had gone yellow and we had been out there, that would have been it. We would have been 10th or something. So I'm pleased with how that went. We're fine on fuel. We're back on the prime tires. It's now just a matter of holding Paul Tracy off, which we all know this could be very interesting with these two guys. Paul's got like 2 shots more push to pass, so well, we'll see.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Paul Tracy has 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. Bourdais has just 19 seconds to go. Still under caution, 28 laps to go. Michelle Beiser with us this weekend here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. She's been out and about at Reliant Park. Michelle, what else have you come up with this weekend?
All right, you guys, last night it was Oscar De La Hoya's fight night. Today, it's the EVP Tour, and I'm here with my partner, Leanne Harbaugh. Leanne, what's our strategy?
They've really been leaving that line open today all day, so we're really going to shoot for going down that line.
I was noticing that they were leaving the line open. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Did you see that? You better watch out. I got boxing, I got volleyball.
Joining the EVP Tour. Michelle, she's been very busy here this week. All right, we're on board with Paul Tracy now. He's got the helmet cam on. He will restart right behind Sebastian Bourdais when we get back to green.
But no one has mentioned Mario Dominguez.
Yeah.
Mario Dominguez is thinking, man, I can't believe I did that. If he's going to be aggressive, he's going to try and get the lead back.
Off the restart, a great opportunity to give it a try. Field still under caution. 28 laps remaining tonight. The Champ Car World Series, the Grand Prix of Houston. They'll be right back for the restart. in Houston for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. And a reminder that Live on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns this coming Friday night. Fastest tailgaters on earth attack Charlotte. Fun under the lights. It's at 8:30 Eastern, presented by Dodge here on Speed. On board with the MyJack Conquest 34 car. Doesn't look very good now, does it?
Nice transition. Full moon. This is what happens. They
Yeah.
say there's a lot more accidents on the road on a full moon than at nighttime, and we've seen it here in Houston.
Well, if you follow the Champ Car World Series closely, you know that Sébastien Bourdais and his longtime fiancée Claire Ragot were married recently in Le Mans, France, Sébastien's hometown. And our cameras were there on May the 6th. Cathedral Saint-Julien, I believe. Team owner Paul Newman in attendance. Kevin Kalkoven there.
Alors officiellement.
Beautiful ceremony. And they are now husband and wife. And we congratulate Sébastien and Claire.
And he's on his honeymoon.
Is he?
He went, well.
What could be better than honeymooning in Houston?
No, they're going to have an official honeymoon later, but he came straight from the ceremony here. So honeymooning in Houston, which at this particular time, top of the charts, not too bad. Not too bad. Not as fun for Claire.
No.
But awesome for Sébastien.
Paul Newman, Carl Haas watching from on top of the timing stand. And driver Sébastien Bourdais, the McDonald's #1, is the race leader as we prepare for another restart. Now, Bruno Junqueira, you heard Greg Hampson say earlier, they ran the 2-car out of fuel, inadvertently, of course, trying to get Bruno back toward the front of the pack. Started on the front row, but he's back in 12th, couple of laps down to the leaders right now. Getting ready to go green. Cameron Steele.
I'm here with Charles Wolfsman. At the first round in Long Beach, you took yourself out, but this time it looked like you got mugged.
Yeah, I was coming up on Will Power when he came out of the pits, and I had so much more speed than him, and then he locked his wheels coming into the first corner. He still turned in real early, and I was there, and he collected me. So it's a real shame. We were doing well. So.
A disappointed Charles Wolfsman. We'll see how it works out in the third round in Monterey.
One more look at it. On board here with Wolfsman. Here he comes again.
He's just out of the pits. You know, I mean.
Yikes.
Well,
what were you going to do?
So much more speed. I can't.
That's Wolfsman explaining, explaining to Eric Bachelard and the rest of the team what happened.
What are you going to do? Not much.
No, not in a place like this. And one of the factors, of course, in temporary course racing, street circuits and that sort of thing, there's no runoff area to speak of here. You've got the concrete walls on both sides with the catch fencing.
Green flag to you. Good clean run to the end, man.
Getting word from Champ Car from timing and scoring, the officials, that Will Power will be assessed a drive-through penalty as we get set for the restart. They're calling it avoidable contact. Now Power is 6th at the moment. The drive-through will put him way back, I would think, at the back of the lead lap cars. Justin Wilson, last car in the lead lap, now in 10th. A.J. Allmendinger has moved back up to 9th after his first pit stop, which came under green. Lights out on the Ford Mustang safety car. We'll be restarting this time by Paul Tracy right behind Sébastien Bourdais. The two protagonists, Dominguez 3rd, Tagliani 4th. Turn 9, heading to the stripe, and big jump for Bourdais.
And Tracy's on the reds, so Tracy likes those, even though Dominguez does not.
23 laps to go next time by. Braking for the chicane.
And so is Dominguez. So even though they seem to have trouble at the end of the stint, they both decided that the Bridgestone alternate reds are the way to go. We'll see who's right.
Well, only 23 laps left. That would be a short stint on those tires, off of this caution at least, but they've had them on for a while. On board with Tracy. Turn 4. Back to Bill Stevens.
Guys, I think we're getting set up here for a real shootout. I just spoke to Neil Mickelwright of Forsyth Racing. I asked him point blank, is Paul Tracy going to go after this thing? He says Paul has plenty of race car, and when he said it, he had a twinkle in his eye.
Now we will see. Tracy's got 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. And remember, he's got 75 horsepower on tap on that button tonight. We told you earlier, Champ Car officials decided, along with Cosworth, to dial the base power back to 725. Max power is still 800. So when you hit the button, you've got, what, 11 seconds per burst of 75 additional horsepower.
And 11 seconds is the time of the longest straightaway. That's why they picked that number. So it was going to be longer initially, but they've added this chicane, so therefore 11 seconds is the number. You do it at every racetrack. Whenever the longest you're on full throttle is the longest you can use the Cosworth power to pass.
A 1 second lead for Bourdais. Last time over the stripe, 23 to go. Dominguez, who started on the pole tonight, his first career pole, led the first 66 laps in that car before running out of brakes at the end of this long sweeper, turn 4.
And Mario has always said that he loves pressure. He to have an opportunity to be up front and have people pushing him, he says he thrives on that. But unfortunately, whether it was a lapse of concentration, whether it was just hitting a bump just in the wrong way, unfortunately, that unforced error, if he ends up third, although you would think, great, being on the podium, he's really going to be bummed.
Oh, sure. 2 career wins. This is 65th start, and he wanted one here tonight. Justin Wilson now, the CDW 9 car for the Rouge Sport team. Wilson up to 7th. He has battled back after early race struggles. Let's listen to this Ford Cosworth motor sing here in Houston.
.165 at the end of the straight.
Nelson Philippe up in front there, the 9 car. Philippe 6th at the moment. He's had problems and has battled back tonight. The CTE HVM team.
.155 there. Down to 50.
Coming up on 20 laps to go, and Wilson 7th, 10 seconds off the lead, drawing a beat on Philippe for 6th. You know, if Wilson could get a top 5 here tonight, Jan, that would be a great accomplishment, considering how badly things were going for them in the first 20 laps.
As much time as he spent in the pits and backwards, yes, that just shows that perseverance pays. A couple of full course cautions don't hurt either.
Now here is young Nelson Philippe, the Burden to Bear Entertainment 4. Great paint scheme on that car for the CTA HVM team. They won the Sherwin-Williams Finishes Award at Long Beach. Team Australia gathering up that award here this weekend. Second race of the season. Sherwin-Williams paints the official finish of the Champ Car World Series. Philippe's still only 19. This is his 3rd season in Champ Car. Among the most naturally talented young drivers we've seen in a long time. Here's Wilson, though, right up behind him.
And Nelson Philippe doesn't have near the speed as Justin Wilson, and it shows that you really have to plan things out if Justin Wilson's going to pick up the spots.
Wilson patiently aggressive is what we've seen from him in his brief time in the series. Heading toward the final turn, back to the front stretch. Bourdais 1.1 seconds ahead of Tracy at the head of the class. And now Wilson's lost some contact with Philippe.
Yeah, Nelson Philippe was very good off the final corner, turn 9. And if you're going to be good at any corner on the racetrack, it wants to be the one that leads on to the longest straightaway.
Through the chicane, turn 2 now, short shoot to 3. Back behind Wilson's Andrew Ranger, who's done a nice job tonight on the Tide My Jack Conquest 27 car. Allmendinger 9th.
Although the average laps are not that fast here, there's enough fast sections here to where he is feeling some of the aerodynamic turbulence from Nelson Philippe. So his car is not going to be as strong. The slower the corner, the less the effect. So you'll find that he's closer on the slower corners, and as soon as there's any aerodynamics involved, it definitely upsets the car.
Team Australia, Aussie Vineyards 15. Got a glimpse of Alex Tagliani there. Steady 4th, 5.5 seconds back. Oriol Serviet in the 6th car. He is 5th. He's about 1.4 seconds behind Tag. That's the battle for 4th.
Uh-oh.
Tagliani through the chicane. He missed the corner. As we watch Tag come back on the throttle now, and he may have to give up some ground. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Derek Walker of Team Australia. We saw that happen simultaneously, Derek. Is that going to be a problem?
It's a big problem. We've probably lost 6th place at least. But, you know, that's racing. I'm sure it was an unfortunate error. But well, we've got our penalty now. We're trying to track down Allmendinger and get 9, see what we can do.
Just before that, they were a couple of seconds ahead of Oriol Servia and a couple of seconds behind Mario Dominguez. And now the deck's been shuffled.
Well, Derek was referencing Will Powers' penalty that was assessed earlier. Powers back in 10th, battling with Allmendinger. Meantime, Tagliani in the 15 car, the other Aussie Vineyards machine, he was up in 4th. Ran through the chicane area there. We'll see if a penalty will be assessed to that car. Up front, it's Bourdais. Tracy a 2.5 in the McDonald's Newman Haas number 1. Tracy in the Forsyth Index car, a 2.5 back. 18 laps to go. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll be right back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Second race of 2006, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. Wednesday on Speed, don't miss Pinks, a duel between a 95 Honda Civic and an 89 Mazda RX-7 and 2 trucks hauling more than lumber. Best 3 out of 5 drag race. Winner takes all on Pinks, Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only here on Speed. Alongside Jan Beekes, Iberic Benjamin, Bill Stevens, Cameron Steele on pit road. And there is the lovely Claire Bourdet watching her husband lead the show here at Houston. First time for Champ Car back in the Lone Star State in 5 years, and everyone's very excited about the return of Champ Car racing to the city of Houston. Bourdet started 5th tonight. Jan, things have fallen his way. He's been very patient, worked his way to the front. He's stretched his lead over Paul Tracy to 2.8 seconds. Bourdet seems to have things going very much his way as Jan Halen rolls through the chicane. Now let's show you what's happened. We've got a wild night here on the streets of Houston around Reliant Park. Early on, there was contact here involving Justin Wilson. Nicky Pastorelli's had an eventful night on the Rocket Sports 8 car. Got together there with Jan Halen. Justin Wilson caught some of the action, spinning the car more than once. A little while ago, Catherine Legg and Speedy Dan Clark got together. And then Bruno Juncker and AJ Allmendinger tangled, and they both managed to stay off the wall. This was the hardest hit of the night just a few moments ago. Charles Wolzman and Will Power. Power had just come off pit road, evidently didn't see Wolzman, locked up his brakes. Wolzman took the 34 car into the concrete. Sebastian Bourdet, after his final pit stop, stretching it out over Paul Tracy. Now, PT still has 34 seconds. Cosworth Power to pass time, but have a look at this. Over the last 5 laps, from 1.1 seconds to 2.8 seconds, Bourdet seems to be headed to the house.
And he's on the tires that he likes, and Paul Tracy's on the tires that some people have had trouble with at the end of their stint. And so unless something happens to Bourdet, everyone was hoping maybe, going to Le Mans, getting married, somehow he might be just a little bit distracted. Not happening.
Didn't seem to be. There's Catherine Legg back on the racetrack. Had that contact with Speedy Dan Clark, who's being posted 16th. Catherine 14th. She's lost 15 laps after the contact and the repairs, but wanted points, certainly wanted seat time. Her first season in Champ Car with the PKV team. After a stunning debut in the Atlantic Championship last year, the 3 wins, including that terrific victory in her debut at Long Beach. Here comes Justin Wilson now, still trying to get by Nelson Philippe. This is for 6th.
Yeah, that's a good job by Nelson Philippe, because we have seen that Justin Wilson's got some very nice speed now that they got this thing settled down. And Nelson Philippe, like you said, for his young age, is very, very steady, not making any mistakes.
On board Wilson, the CDW9 car. Out of the Rue Sports stables, his teammate AJ Allmendinger, who had his tires go away when he was a strong 4th. They had to pit him early. Allmendinger still 9th. Still on the lead lap, but still strong. Big contact again. Is that Servia? He is right on the racing line, but there is room to sneak through. I believe that's the 6th car. And I believe that is Oriol Servia's machine.
Completely slowed down in the middle of the straight line, like he had a problem. And then he turned the fucking corner.
With 13 laps to go, J.D. Wilbur puts out the full course yellow yet again. Teams looking up at the monitors. And the PKV 6 car, the Gulfstream machine, heavily damaged. Contact with one of the Aussie Vineyards cars.
Tell me. No, that's Tagliani.
Yeah, Alex Tagliani turned
But that's the
in there.
exact same thing that Will Power did.
Tag and
That's a
Servia.
double mugging.
They were battling for 4th position. And Servia's night is over, his 100th Champ Car start. That cake won't taste very, very nice at the end of the evening here for Oriol Servia.
Now the difference is they were at least racing for a position. It wasn't like Tagliani had just left the pits, but.
All right, let's get packed up. Get packed up.
It's funny how the perspective changes. You hear on that, well, he hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit you because you. Anyway, I think it's obvious.
Well, it's pretty tight there. I mean,
I know.
For any of these drivers who've run here this weekend, it does funnel down quite a bit to the chicane at the end of the straightaway there. Here is Tagliani, still shown in 4th. Dominguez 3rd. As they get ready, the call from Champ Car, pack it up for the restart. 12 to go. One more look here.
Well, okay. All right.
Did Servia try to go where there was no room?
Well, Servia went later than I thought at first. That's a very good angle to show that Servia ducked in there later than I thought. Initially, it looked like he was alongside, and then Tagliani turned in. So I may need
one more look.
Yeah, see, he's already turning.
Yeah.
All right, so I take that back. And that That's why it's so awesome to have a camera right there. If you take it a little bit later, it looks like he got chopped, but Oriol Servia went in and took that too late.
Again, a look. And Tag had locked up his brakes at that point.
Yeah, see, look, from that view, it looks as though Tag has seen him and said, nope, I'm taking the corner. But the camera that was right at the apex there showed that Oriol Servia just a little late getting in position.
So heavy contact in the chicane. Oriol Servia's night is done in car number 6, the Bell Micro PKV entry. Tough night for Servia, the Spaniard, making his 100th career start. All right, we'll take the opportunity to grab a quick timeout before we go back to green with 12 to go. The Grand Prix of Houston presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Second race of 2006, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston at Reliant Park. Tuesday night on Speed, an all-new build or bust. Jim builds race cars. Can he build a dream bike in 30 days? The pressure is on when Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top stops by for a visit. Build or bust is Tuesday nights, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Ibrick Benjamin with Jan Bikas. Field getting set for a restart here. There'll be 10 laps to go. There are 10 laps to go. There'll be 9 to go when the green reappears. So if PT has anything for Bourdais, now is certainly the time to place his cards on the table and make that call. He's got 34 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time remaining. Bourdais bidding to open the season with back-to-back wins, coming off 2 consecutive Champ Car championships. He would be the first Champ Car driver since Ted Horn back in the 40s to win 3 consecutive titles if he can get the deal done this year. And the yellow flags remain out. Carl Haas and Paul Newman watching things from the timing stand. Jerry Forsyth, who owns the 2 Index cars, running 2nd and 3rd. Paul Tracy, Mayo Dominguez. You can tell, I think, just by the expressions, who's where.
Yep, you can, because Bourdais is in the catbird seat. He is definitely a little nervous anytime you see Paul Tracy, who has more Cosworth power to pass behind you, and you have a caution and you have a nice lead. But he is excellent at the restarts, but so is Paul Tracy.
Yeah. All right, 9 to go. Lights are still on the safety car, so we're not ready for the restart quite yet. Now, Bourdais would open with 2 consecutive wins this season. Hasn't been done in a while. Looking back at the record books, well, Paul Tracy, the year he won the championship, won the first 3 races.
What's going to happen is that Sebastian Bourdais is going to punch the button when he goes to the restart. He has 19 seconds left. We know that he'll burn, well, could burn as much as 11. So that means he's only left with 8 seconds, whereas Paul Tracy will have 2 more shots. Bill?
Down here with Claire, who is the wife, of course, of Sebastian Bourdais, and look at the smile on your face. It's been quite an eventful weekend, hasn't it?
Well, for now it's going well, but we had a lot of ups and downs this weekend, so I'm really glad the way it's going for now, but it's not done yet. So just we'll stay focused until the end.
I see you with a notebook and a pen. I guess your old man's got you working, huh?
Well, I'm trying to maintain his website, so I'm just taking notes for the race so I can write my story afterwards.
You're really busy. You're working with the Atlantic team too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm also helping out. I just need to feel, busy and feel like I'm doing something with my life too. So.
Well, congratulations on your marriage. It was really exciting to see you here this weekend, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Newman Haas team settling in on pit road. Pace car team giving the field the indication, getting ready to go here shortly. Bourdais with the visor up, still pretty warm here tonight, not nearly as hot as it's been this week. We've had a couple of humid days, temperatures in the upper 80s. Yellow flag stays out.
I love the way they're keeping the pace car back and trying to keep them bunched up. They're using the pace car tonight to where they're really hanging it back, and I like that.
Field realigning for the restart. Now, unfortunately, we've lost one of our cameras here in the waning laps. We're going to show you what happened a moment ago and tell you why. That's why. No one injured, but minus some cable, I'm told, at one of the runoff areas here. So, brake lockup has been a problem at many points on the racetrack this weekend.
And that was on a pace lap.
Yeah.
So, good time to lose the brakes.
I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
better than under
well,
green.
the fronts were working, but it looked like the rears were not. And thankfully, it wasn't at full saw.
Now, are there different brake packages teams can elect to run in the Champ Car World Series?
Yes, you can run heavier and more longevity, or you can run lighter and a little more effective. So that's like all racing type things.
Getting ready for the restart with Paul Tracy on board. Cameron Steele.
Well, Neil, we got to ask you, what's the game plan here as we wind down the race?
You know, obviously we're not sure how soon he's going to go green again with the issue that Tagliani's had where he appears to have lost his brakes, but we're not sure that we have an awful lot for Bourdais. You know, his car's pretty quick, but there are 8 laps to go right now. Hopefully there'll still be 5 or 6 when we get the green flag. We'll just do the best that we can. We may not have anything for him.
What about the Ford Cosworth power to pass? You have more than Bourdais does.
We have a little bit more than that, but of course, you know, the opportunities to use it and make the most of the potential that it offers, you know, diminishes as you get the tyres worn out towards the latter part of the race. So certainly we don't plan on coming back with anything left on the table, but whether that'll be enough to make a difference, who knows.
Thank you, Neil. He's downplaying it a little bit, but a dogfight between Tracy and Bourdais, I think, is expected all along pit row.
Now there's Will Power in the Aussie Vineyards 5, but that was Alex Tagliani who ran out of the brakes and cut our camera cable just a few moments ago. Tag was up in 4th, had that impact that we showed you not many laps ago. I wonder if that affected his brakes, that hit with Serbia.
Well, yeah, it certainly could have. There was significant contact there, and if they made some repairs and somehow there was a brake line that was somehow kinked or broken, that's what will happen. And that's why these cars have dual master cylinders, so you would never lose the front and the rear brakes both. And that's why there was smoke off the front brakes, and at least it slowed them down somewhat. Bill?
I know this can be a dangerous question on live television, but what's the strategy right now?
Well, we have 2 shots of push to pass. Paul's got 4. So we're going to need to be smart. Sebastian just needs to have one really good restart here. But there's not going to be much of racing because this is a timed race now. And I think there's only going to be like 3 green flag laps, 2 green flag laps. So as long as we get a good restart, we should be okay.
Everybody knows 2 into 4 will go.
Now the time element has come into play here. The race distance shortened to 100 laps, as we told you at the top of the broadcast, when the race track was lengthened by about 6/10, or I should say 6/100ths of a mile. And now, of course, the 2-hour time limit comes into play. We've had so many caution laps here tonight. Top left of your screen, you can see our clock. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go before we reach the 2-hour limit. Now, you can't finish a lap, of course, but with 7 laps to go and the race pace is about 1:02, we will be a couple of laps short of the 100-lap planned distance here tonight. So this is playing out perfectly if you're Sebastian Bourdais, I would say. Paul Tracy only has a couple of laps to work with, he really gets one chance on this restart.
Well, you know what? Even Sebastian Bourdais, well, maybe not. I was going to say maybe he would even like to fight it out with Paul Tracy under green if he had the opportunity. But I know they want to be concerned about what might be happening with Alex Tagliani because there were still safety trucks in that area trying to fix it. And my goodness, look at the way it's moved the tires and the wall there.
So Tag clearly was almost totally out of brakes when he went down through there. That's where we lost our camera cable and thus our picture from that area several minutes ago. And the Champ Car safety team down there, and tough break. You know, Tagliani had that contact with Serbia down into turn 1. There's Tag, the veteran, first career Champ Car win coming 2 seasons ago at Road America, where we will be in September after 1 year away. We're looking forward to it.
It depends on what they call.
So they told him 1 to go, but because it's a timed race.
Better versus this 2, so make sure you get yourself ready.
Bourdais will be the restart leader. Lights out, it appears, on the safety car.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Looks like we're ready for a restart. Clock winding down. There's the time left, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, top left of your screen. Now what's going on here?
No, he's just warming up the tires. He knows how to get into Bourdais' head. Don't forget, I'm right here. If you make a move, I'll be there.
And watching this the last couple of seasons as we've covered the Champ Car World Series, it has been a wonderful rivalry between these two. They get under each other's skin a good bit. The teams certainly have a great rivalry. Craig Hampson taking a look at the scoring monitor and at the telemetry. Bourdais with 19 seconds.
Be ready. It's going green and white. Green flag and white flag. 1 to go when you pass.
Green, white, checkered. 1 lap remaining of racing here tonight at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Top running Roche France Rookie of the Year at this point. How about Will Power, 7th?
Yeah, here's where it all comes together. Oh, and Sebastian, he's...
Get ready. This is going to be the last lap. You're going to start the last lap.
Safety car is in. Turn 9, coming to the stripe.
Sebastian got a huge jump.
Bourdais is the leader. Dominguez third behind Tracy.
And everybody's on the button.
Nobody's holding anything back. Fourth spot belongs to Nelson Philippe, who's had his struggles tonight.
But Bourdais lost a little time there. He lost some more. Bourdais having trouble with the front of the car. It's not turning. Paul Tracy might have a shot.
Now remember, this is the high-speed part of the racetrack, one of the two around turn 4. It's a huge sweeper, but Bourdais gets a good jump. Tracy wiggles a little.
Remember, Paul Tracy is the master when the tires are cold, but I have a feeling that was a temporary thing for Bourdais. He had lots of trouble getting the thing turned in. That's what happens. You pick up some pickup when you're behind the pace car for long periods.
Sebastian Bourdais hoping to go back-to-back to open the 2006 Champ Car World Series season. He won at Long Beach. He's got an 0.8 of a second lead over Tracy. Dominguez third, Philippe is fourth, Wilson up to fifth in front of Ranger. The Forsyth team, they know this one is all but over. And here comes Bourdais to the stripe, Sebastian Bourdais.
We showed him how tough we are today, fellas. Good job. Great job, Tim. Great drive.
Bourdais comes home the winner. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston to the driver of the McDonald's car number 1. Paul Tracy runs second. Dominguez is third. Bill Stevens.
Oh, there is elation down here in the McDonald's team, as you can imagine, after a breeze in Long Beach. This is a team that really worked hard. You guys earned your money tonight, Craig.
Well, I'm really proud of this team. I mean, we worked so hard over the winter, every one of these guys. It hasn't been an easy weekend on us. A lot of things just kind of haven't gone our way. We've made some mistakes. But we've had a fast car, and I think we have the fastest driver, and we've got the best team and the best sponsor and the best owners. And, well, we're just going to keep trying to do that all year.
Great job.
Thank you.
Sebastian Bourdais, is he on his way to a third straight Vanderbilt Cup?
Certainly off to a great start. He is the points leader, of course, and with the win, Bourdais from 5th on the grid tonight. 66 points his unofficial total after 2 seasons. His 18th career victory on the tour. He led 30 laps tonight. He's now led 1,148 laps in his Champ Car career, which is just in its early 4th season. Fireworks being displayed over the Astrodome tonight here at Reliant Park in Houston, and the fans applauding Sebastian Bourdais, who wins the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. We'll come back, talk to the winner, cover the other stories that are important as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston is complete. Sebastian Bourdais wins 2 in a row to begin the 2006 Champ Car season. Serving up those donuts once again here at Reliant Park in Houston, Texas. Fireworks display continues over the Astrodome tonight. Bourdais ready to climb out of the race car in victory lane. Bill Stevens.
Oh, hey, look at this. Just an absolute pandemonium scene down here as Sebastian Bourdais is out of the car and receives the congratulations from his well-wisher. Sebastian, I gotta ask you, before the race we talked, and you mentioned about the confidence level, but from what we saw here tonight, there didn't seem to be a confidence problem at all with your team.
No, you know, these days sometimes you got the fantastic car. Worked really hard this winter to achieve that, but I could not really expect anything like that.
Talk a little bit about the misfortune tonight, the pit incident, and being warned for blocking.
Well, the warning, you know, was just was one of these deals where you kind of, you know, defend without blocking, but you know, you kind of move a little bit and didn't really want to take a chance with PT. So, and in the meantime, you know, I got hit pretty bad by Mario, who defended his position quite badly, I should say. So, you know, it's racing. Everybody wants to win.
What were your thoughts when you got the lead, lost it on the pit stop?
I kind of felt sweet. It was like, you know, we really deserved this one, and maybe there's justice for the McDonald's car.
I know it's very early in the season, but 2 victories to start off the 2006 campaign. A good springboard for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, you can't really start any better than that, but as you said, it's a long way to go.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So Bourdais wins by 1.2 seconds over Paul Tracy. 2 for 2 to open the season. Dominguez comes home in 3rd spot. He's got to be disappointed after qualifying on the pole.
He does. It was one of those things that we spoke about in the Open, an unforced error. And poor Mario Dominguez is going to be watching that, be playing that in his head. Only if it wasn't for that escape road, it could have been me.
And Nelson Philippe, I think, did a terrific job to get fourth out of this tonight.
Very consistent, had serious heavy pressure from Justin Wilson and never wavered.
Wilson went off a couple of times, still gets credit for fifth. Alex Tagliani, Oriol Servia tangled late. Jan Heylen, Leggs, Wolzman, Clark. Nicky Pastorelli was the first car behind the wall. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Paul Tracy, and obviously frustrated, Paul. You're looking for your first win since late June of last year. Talk about the blocking that happened.
Well, you know, it's just, you know, every guy that Sebastian passed, he passed me. I gave him, I stayed on the racing line and gave him the room. He passed his teammate. He stayed on the racing line, gave him the room. I didn't see the pass on Mario, but on the restart, you know, he tried to make a move on Mario and didn't make it happen. And then I got a big run on him and came down the front straightaway on the push to pass and was going to go to the inside of him, and he just faded me to the inside and got off the racing line and blocked the move. So it's pretty clear in the rule book and the drivers' meetings we've had that's not acceptable under any circumstances. But I guess when you're Sebastian Bourdais, you can do what you want.
Do you think it made the difference in the evening for you?
Well, you know, I think you know, it was a tactical race for us. I mean, the black tires tonight seem to be a little bit better than the reds, and I was quicker than him at the time when he was on reds and I was blacks, and then when we switched, it flip-flopped. He was a little bit quicker than me, but it was, you know, if once we had gotten in front, maybe I could have stayed in front of him.
Definitely much better than getting taken out in the first corner at Long Beach. A second place for Paul Tracy. Rick, back up to you.
Well, no love lost between Tracy and Bourdais as the rivalry continues to rage. They run 1-2. Bourdais celebrating here in Houston with the fans up on the fence. Bill Stevens.
Down with Mario Dominguez. Emotionally, winning the pole, leading the race, finishing second. Is there any way to describe what's in your head right now?
Yeah, it was tough. To tell you the truth, Bourdais did a good job. He put a lot of pressure on me. He was saving fuel. I knew he was saving fuel. I had to save fuel too, and at the same time lead the race and go fast. And at one point, I just locked the brakes too much, because to save fuel, you have to carry a lot of speed into the corners, and couldn't hold on. So it's too bad. I made a mistake. The team did a great job. I'd like to thank the whole Foresight racing team and my engineer, Michael Cannon. Gave me a great car. But the good thing is, you know, we've shown improvement. We've shown that we can do it. We can be on the pole. We can run with them. And I think for Monterey, we're going to go for the revenge.
And we'll know about that in a week, guys.
Now, he'll have plenty of incentive. Now he knows he can start up front, and he knows he can win races. He has 2 career wins. Sebastian Bourdais is your winner. Back with more from the Champ Car Grand Prix of Houston. The post-race celebration continues. We'll be back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Our coverage today has been brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence. And by Ford, bold moves. Take a look at the season standings now with 2 races complete. Sebastian Bourdais is the leader. Dominguez moves to second, 18 back. Wilson, Ranger, and Alex Tagliani the first 5.
And certainly Sebastian Bourdais has had every point but one.
Now we heard from Paul Tracy at the top of the broadcast. He said, hey, I need to score points tonight after coming into the back of the field in Long Beach. He's gotten himself to 8th by running second here tonight. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Justin Wilson. I spoke to him before the race. I said, you look like you were driving like a man possessed in practice and qualifying. That doesn't compare to what I saw tonight. What a ride to finish 5th.
Yeah, it was an eventful night. You know, it started off pretty bad going into the chicane and just got hit from behind and knocked into a spin. So that put us basically a lap down, and you know, we were fighting. We weren't really quick enough to hang on in that first stint. But yeah, like I said earlier, we had so many ups and downs. Kept coming back, getting back into a position, pass a few cars, go back again, and so it's been tough.
Hey, has this guy got game? Show everybody the palms of your hands, Justin. Look at the blisters from the steering wheel caused by the bumps on this racetrack, but it didn't slow him down. Pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. You know, it's just pleased to get something out of tonight. You know, the whole CDW Car 9 team have done a great job. Kept working at it, and you know, we got some kind of result.
I think you're in some fans tonight.
That made me cringe to see that. That's why we saw Mario Dominguez and other drivers wrap their hands like a boxer.
Well, his were wrapped. You could see there was still the adhesive there. Yeah. So even through the wrap, you get that. I would imagine if you looked at many of the drivers up and down, they would have similar type effects on the hands.
Well, Justin Wilson 5th tonight. That certainly keeps him very much in the thick of the points chase. But Bourdais, by winning 2 in a row, now he didn't gain a point. We didn't talk much about it tonight, but of Thursday first round qualifying, when he was the fastest, he was disqualified. He gave up a point there. He had to start all over again in second round qualifying and had to come from 5th on the grid tonight. But Bourdais keeps, I think, a very strong record intact as the victory lane ceremonies continue here. He's won now 5 in a row at brand new Champ Car venues over the last couple of years. Cameron Steele.
I'm here with Nelson Philippe, who betters his best ever 7th with the 4th place finish here tonight. That's got to be gratifying to you.
It's awesome. We had a very up and down race, and I'm glad we could come out on top, if you can say that. We did 4 pit stops, so we definitely didn't think we were going to end up here. But like I said before I went inside the car, I told my team I'm not going to give up. I'm going to push the whole way, and it paid off. 4th is not quite the podium yet, but I'll take it.
He said before the interview that he was ready for the podium in Monterey. We'll see if he can do it.
Nelson Philippe at age 19, a very bright future ahead, and he was very good at Monterey a year ago, very much in contention through a lot of the afternoon. Now, Paul Tracy and Sebastian Bourdais smiling at the moment, although there was a little bit of chappiness there between those two, as we heard and as we saw. Our Roche France Rookie of the Year standings: Will Power, a 7th tonight. He was the top placing rookie. Palin, Legg, and Zwolsman. Dan Clark, Nicky Pastorelli, who made his first Champ Car start tonight, but struggled with a Rocket Sports machine that just was not on pace and had brake issues. He is credited with 17th at this point. So now we're ready to head to Mexico in just a couple of days. Mario Dominguez, national hero there. He will have a lot on his shoulders at Fundadora Park. Next Sunday, we will be on the air for you. Round 3 of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Sunday afternoon at Monterey, the Tecate Grand Prix of Monterey presented by Roche France. Our coverage at 2 Eastern on Speed, a south of the border showdown. Our re-air of this event Wednesday at noon Eastern on Speed. Up next, Speed's NASCAR Victory Lane from Darlington. Preon Beekes, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, and Michelle Beisner. I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, Sebastian Bourdais. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.